Although the stream key might not be right. We'll see in a second because I didn't update it. Let's see if it actually goes live.
Yeah, it's going live. You're good.
Oh, okay. You sure? But let's see if it actually goes live. Excellent.
It's going live. You're good. Hey guys, welcome back.
Okay.
It's time for another episode recap and review.
Or as we often say, scene by scene, detailed, full-on breakdown, the whole hog. Do you know anyone else on YouTube that does the same thing, Stuart? Or are we just that damn awesome?
I think it's just us. Because we are that damn awesome.
Yes. And please do go back today and watch our 2 already released videos. Our spoiler-free review, under 4 minutes. And our full spoiler breakdown, which is concise and edited, and lots of graphics, which is 25 minutes, nice and easy. And then more coming tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. And then we have another episode. It'll continue for 7 more weeks, Stuart. Our life is a cycle of events.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Thank you, Bill, for clearing that up. Yeah. He said he was disappointed that we didn't see the you-know-who's, and I was like, who are the who-know-who's? But he said Riker, Troy, and Seven, so...
Well, yeah, we're going to return to Chateau throughout the season, so they've got time. But Seven said should be in it soon? I mean, I kind of think next week, even though that's... Well, maybe it's a flashback.
Interesting. Never considered that.
No, neither did I.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, though, puts in $1.99 because Super Chats are important and great. And he says, 50 already, sweetness again at 100, hashtag make me pay. So everybody make sure you hit that like button.
Yeah, it is kind of important to click lots of like buttons, and you'll get more content from us, you know. But I will now share, we're at 100 people watching, which is brilliant, 63 likes. I want to see 100 likes, though. That is the formal challenge. But I'll come back in 1 minute, Stuart, while you talk to the beautiful people out there. You're all so beautiful.
All right. Yeah. So, guys, you know the drill. This is our alone time, you and I. Because Samuel's not listening. So hit the super chat and let us read your comment or question. If you have anything you want to say about this episode, let us know. It's a great way to support the channel and all that jazz. Plus, Patreon is our monthly subscription service. If you guys want to help us out that way, that'd be much appreciated. It's like one of the best ways to help us out. Or just the free way, obviously, hit like, share it around, things like that. But you can also send PayPal. If you want to do a PayPal transaction, it's down in the comments or in the description of every video. And don't forget all of the cool links down there. We got Trekyards merchandise and ways to save money on Eagle Moss and a whole bunch of great stuff. So check it out in the description of every video. Click those links. They're not just there to look pretty and be all blue and underlined. No. Click those. Stephen Alvarez puts in 5 Australian dollars. Nobody... Rafi JL. I should have waited to read that one until Samuel was back, so I will wait for the super chats. But thank you guys. If you want to send some, so we have a bit of a stack, that'd be awesome. We will get to them as soon as he is done sharing the video around. Which is the reason we do this every episode is just because it just gets it out there that we are currently live. We've had it posted on Facebook all day that we're doing it, but some people might have saw it and forgotten or whatever. So yeah. Free Cloud sounds like a music streaming service. It does. I think it's going to be like a combination of Ryza and that planet from Star Wars, Ryza, or the last Jedi. Cantabite, that's it. Looks like it's a gambling destination, so we're gonna have to see what that's all about. But yeah, it does kind of sound like a free music streaming service.
Yeah, I never know what I'm going to come back into when I
know, right?
when I leave
Well,
for 2 minutes.
somebody said Freecloud sounds like a free music streaming service,
Yes.
but I think it definitely has it's going to be a cross between Ryza and Cantobyte. It's got a gambling thing going on, so.
Whereas for me, it sounds like a place where life forms that have a partial mechanical component can go to relax. So we might see a Binar, we'll see Xborg maybe, people that connect to the data, connect to the world. Holograms, maybe that's where the pleasure holograms are. That's what it sounds like to me anyway. Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you can have fun with either the Irish or the English version of our new captain. Reprogrammable for fun if you are so inclined, you dirty old man. Didn't think I was going to say that this live, but I did.
The things we say. Steven Alvarez puts in $5
Thank
Nobody.
you.
Rafi, JL.
Yeah.
And Matthew DeFriedis, $2.
Hey, hi Matthew.
Very much. I think Picard will run into 7 on Freecloud. Well, we see him in his study when she shows up, though, I think. So
The thing is, I'm now thinking that the idea of the Chateau might now be a trap. And literally, between stopping watching the video, the episode 10 minutes ago and back up here, that might be a flashback to, because Seven said, as in Jay Ryan said, that was the first time they ever met. But it would be weird if they met that many years after. So what if that's a flashback to him, right after he left, and she goes to see him to try and recruit him. He says no, but therefore they've known each other a few years now, which builds in that pre-built relationship. And then she meets him on the mission, which is where she's shooting the pulse weapons. So that, I think, would kind of connect better, rather than him going away from Earth and then back to Earth just to sit in his room and for Seven to come back. It feels kind of daft. So I think maybe all the Chateau stuff now might be flashback stuff, which I'm not against.
yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think it will, but that'd be a better way of doing it, I think, rather than just back, forth, back, forth, back, forth.
Ensign Ricky. Oh, we're getting a few super chats flying in here. Ensign Ricky, $2. Rafi is the only one I don't like on the show so far. I'm not the biggest fan of her either.
I preferred her as Officer Raffi than Drug Addict Raffi.
Well, she'll get around to that again. Don't worry.
Yeah.
One of those redemption arc things, I think.
Exactly. It's like Tom Paris, but without any of the, but with Tom being completely sanitized in terms of really being dark. Because he was just a bit screwed up, but he wasn't a drug addict. La la la. I mean, they didn't give her that much to work on, although they gave her the instant, I need to help Picard, but really it's I need to prove I was right. It's the we're not going to work together, but our motivations happen to lead to the same place.
Pixels at Dawn puts in £2.
Thank you.
Be right back. Uploading my website to Freecloud.
I hear the speeds are just amazing.
They're warp compatible. Yes.
No, they travel at quantum.
Oh yes.
Quantum fingerprints. Everything travels at quantum. In the free cloud.
Robert Nix puts in $2. Picard needs to put Raffi in a timeout. Oh yeah, he's not going to. It's way over her right now.
Yeah, they're gonna rebond. But I hope we see more flashbacky stuff to them being together, because you can't quite give them the best companion ever out of the box,
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, I would definitely need to see more flashbacks like that. Mark Lawrence, though, welcome, Mark. Throws in $5.
Thank you.
I back up my office documents on Freecloud. Oh my god, that's like an ongoing thing.
That's a decent name.
And Jarzia throws in $5 Canadian. Thank you very much, Jarzia. When do you think William Riker and Deanna Troi are going to show up? I'm glad Geordie LaForge is alive, but worried about Barclay.
Beverly Crusher.
Oh. Looking forward to
7 of 9.
Coming back through.
I don't know what misses.
That was painful. Thanks, Jarzia.
But hey, you made him say it, and that's the real victory for all of us. Well, we know they were kind of a last-minute reshoot, but this is why I said to you quite early on that there's going to be 2 missions. They're going to easily find the first part, because if he has to go ask advice for the mission that he's now already on, like, he's now on the mission. So there's going to be a second mission that will really involve him, so that's going to be the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Ronan Fay, €5.
Thank you.
What does a Vulcan need with sunglasses, second eyelid, etc.? Not sure about 24th century vaping. And was that hologram meant to be Irish or Cornwall? Well, glasses, we have a video coming up on. Second eyelid is mentioned. 24th century vaping.
Dumb.
Yeah. And with the hologram Irish or Cornwall, I don't know.
That was Irish, just less
But,
Irish than the Romulan.
Yeah.
He was all
Anyway,
about the
so
navigational deflectors.
Yes.
But it's funny, the first
It's
guy
cheeky.
I didn't see as being English, but that's because I'm English, so the accent wasn't there. It was like, oh yeah, he's just speaking. Like, just easy to understand accent. Oh, that's English. Oh, okay. But guys, 182 people watching. Now is a great time to put your initial super chats. Let us know what you think of this episode 3. I'm sure you guys have followed us on this journey. And hopefully we'll get, as people join in, some pretty fun stuff.
Absolutely. And everybody that's here, make sure you hit like.
Yeah, and Trooper 116 says, wait, yeah, if Picard doesn't want to involve his friends, why involve Raffi? I guess they weren't friends anymore?
Well, no, they weren't. Because that's what the Romulan guy said. He said, you need somebody that hates you and has nothing to lose. Because he didn't want to call in his friends.
Yeah. But then when she plays at him like, oh, but I loved you, JR, and he's like, I mean, the only reason you're here... Yeah, okay. The only reason you're here is because we don't like each other, really. You know, that is interesting, actually, when you play it like that. And if you take it as literally as the episode implies, that he ruined her life, even though that's completely not realistic. Yeah, it is a bit weird. Doesn't care if she gets hurt. Like, I mean, enough to not to ask her, I mean.
Yeah. Tiberian puts in $5. I think Raffi is a low Laren case. He rescued her, used his clout to keep her in the fleet. As soon as he resigned, she knew she was done. I don't think he raised the rank of commander, though, and not like just by counting on somebody else.
Although, couldn't he just give her field promotions, theoretically?
I don't think so. I don't think that's quite how that works.
I mean, but he has Admiral Picard. If he said, I want this one, but she's a screw-up. No, I want her Lieutenant Commander. Okay.
Maybe. But then they'd probably just bust her down in rank again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Depends on her service record, I guess.
It's a weird set of scenes. And she does say in the ready room that her mum died, and her parents left her, and she became drug addicted quite early on, and through meeting Picard and being part of that mission, she then got clean, and then relied on him, and then he left, and she went back to her ways.
Michael Chamberlain puts in $2.
Thank you.
Glasses equal mirror. Civilian car Jetson sounds. Glasses equals mirror. Oh, mirror universe. No. That's just stupidity beyond the realm of stupidity.
Why though, Stuart? Because the sunglasses are obvious clue, just like seeing Stamets in the mirror.
Well, apparently, all the humans, at least, or the Terrans from the mirror universe, have a light sensitivity, because Lorca did. Later we find out that's because of an accident he had, but whatever. And then, yeah, the Prime universe Lorca had an accident. Sorry, that's why he was supposed to be taking the drops. Anyway, but then there's Giorgio, who... It's never really mentioned again because she was on the bridge of that Enterprise, and goddamn, it was bright. I don't know.
Never was it used again ever after its one plot point.
It's stupidity.
That's how bad the writers were. Let's change the entire fundamental of a species and then never mention it again, but therefore implying that. And you can't say that she takes the drops, really, because it doesn't sound like her, and if she did something more permanent, why couldn't Lorca?
Yeah.
Bad writing. But this show is not the bad writing show. It might be the filler show, some of it, but it's not a bad writing show. There is definitely a total elevation of script here.
Yeah.
Which is good.
The Trembler puts in $5. People who want to get a sense of what 7 will be like can get clues from the Star Trek Online 10th anniversary. I haven't played it yet.
The one with Michael Burnham.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, so it's going to be interesting.
And the reason they probably couldn't get Picard, because Burns was the hero of her tale, couldn't get Picard because he'd charged too much. He'd charged more than, someone's salary, even though he's on the field of the most Star Trek video games of any of the actors. He basically just every video game, which is brilliant. You can be a Picard and a ton of them. It's great, and he always tries. He always tried.
Fleet Pass Swift back $1.99.
Thank you.
Sweet 100 again at 150. Hashtag Picard Light Spike. 203 of you here. Everybody hit that like button. Let's get those likes up. And Jarzia $2. Maybe because she advocated for synths after the attack. I mean, I'd buy that for sure. But you'd think you'd be in a better position to advocate for the rescue mission and be the synths if you were in the fleet in Starfleet, so you wouldn't push too hard, because I got the sense that she was getting called into the CNC's office that minute to be fired. So I don't know what exactly happened, or if that actually came about a couple months later, that she got kind of blackballed and pushed out of the fleet, maybe.
Because that's not how Starfleet works. You don't just get fired. No. It's not a job. And if she was going to get let go, they would have wanted to let her go. Even if Picard hadn't have resigned, if him resigning got her fired, then he's the only one that kept her in commission. Then she must be a really screwed up officer with really bad credentials, otherwise she'd be lowered in rank. She wouldn't be forced out of the service, dishonorably discharged. There has to be more to that story, unless they just don't care. I mean, often in Discovery and such, the plot sort of doesn't go anywhere. But there has to be other things. There must be more to what their evacuation plan was. I assumed last week that Picard would try and do something after the destruction, rather than saying, "If we don't do it, I quit." Should I quit? I guess I'm just now going to ignore the 10 million people, 90 million, just live in my chateau. It's like he would do something. So I'm assuming that we're going to see him do something. That she might get demoted to lieutenant. She goes to Picard. Picard then starts another plan, and that gets her fired, and that gets him forcibly retired, dishonorably retired. There'll be some other steps, because I don't see a connection between what we see and what we get to, unless they said, right, here's where we need the characters to be. Let's do this. Okay, now they're there.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe she knew more about the Federation allowing the attack on Mars.
She said she did.
That's Sylvia's guess. Maybe she pushed for that, there was the Romulans, and because of the Romulan infiltration into Starfleet, that's what got her canned.
But you would think they would just demote her and put her on a ship out in the Beta Quadrant, because the fact is, being decommissioned is more of a threat, because you can go rogue. Because if you're on a little Oberth class in the Gamma Quadrant, you aren't a threat anymore, are you?
Well, exactly. It's more like they would get reassigned.
Yeah. So again, there's something in between that we're just not seeing it, because every episode has flashbacks, so we're going to keep seeing flashbacks. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're not really flashbacks, because no one is flashing back. They're just seeing old things. They're just past sequences. It'll be kind of fun at the end of the season to do a fan edit where you go in chronological order.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll change how the plot feels.
That'd be cool, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of flashbacks, Stuart, shall we head to the past?
Well, we haven't given our overall thoughts on
God, yeah, we haven't. Stuart, what was your overall spoiler-filled review of episode 3 of Picard?
I rather enjoyed it. It did suffer from a few editing, very quick editing issues. which was a little bit annoying, but the way they're trying to tell the story, I kind of got it. A lot of people said they were bored for the first like 20 minutes of this one. I wasn't. I enjoyed the flashback. I enjoyed all that. So this one I feel is better than episode 2. In my personal opinion, I think it's better than episode 2. I love the way it ended. That like last beat was really awesome, and yeah, I thought it was a good enough episode. It had enough action and not very good action in some spots, and enough what the F moments to make it something interesting. So, and plus we got to meet some new characters. We got to learn more about Raffi, which is great. We got to meet Rios, what I really like. And I figured something out. His ship, the La Sirena, whatever, is Spanish for siren, and it's got a mermaid symbol, and he's also got a huge mermaid on his arm. So the sirens, right? So that's kind of cool. Nice tie-in. But yeah, I love the first meeting between Picard and Rios, and of course the holograms on the ship were funny, and I love them as well. So I'm going to really like that character, I think. And so because of all those reasons, I thought it was a pretty interesting and good enough episode. Now, the Borg stuff, I keep forgetting all about it because it was not good or interesting. The best thing was seeing Hugh again. So that's where we stand. That's it.
Okay, good.
And we got some super chats.
So I was waiting for you to ask me.
I'll get there in a second. I got to read the super chats.
That's fine.
Jar's get $2, maybe because she. Oh, I read that one already. Charles Williams, $2 Conflicted TNG theme, yay. Used for the La Sirena. Boo. Well, it's Picard. It's used for Picard, not for the ship.
It was used for Picard's got a ship now.
And he said engage, so woohoo.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah. Eugene puts in 250 rubles. This was a very difficult episode. You dive into the story just to immediately pop out again and again and again, either because of this Mass Effect or this is wrong lingo. Everybody's complaining about that. It doesn't really take me out of the story, though. I've consigned myself to understanding that that's how it's just written, this one. So.
Well, that's one of the things where everyone has different opinions, and people look at a song. Objectively, when most people like it, everyone has different opinions. A chart topper, therefore by definition is well liked. People can have different opinions, and you and me keep swapping between which ones like and dislike, and one of us feels like we have to defend our thoughts. Often it's the one that likes it feels like they have to defend it. The person doesn't like it because of whatever, or don't like it to whatever. And in the comments, it is very much split. Some people either think it was the best one or the worst one of the three. It is very split, which I found really quite interesting. So that's I think it's what we're looking for, and I guess the little things we enjoy, like having the Q reference didn't add anything for me personally. That was just like it wasn't anything. Yeah, it was just a thing. So little things like that.
I missed the Q reference like the few times I watched it. Somebody had to point it out to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the first.
Yeah. But no, for me, I thought this was the weakest of the three. I thought, and I've watched it a second time now, and I like it slightly more than the first time, but I had quite a low bar that first time when I watched it earlier in the day. It's because it's the new characters were better than I thought they were going to be. Raffi is so tortured, she's kind of one-dimensional in that regard, but that's all she's been given so far. She'll grow, that's fine. The captain, I didn't think I'd be fond of, and while I think he was okay, his gimmick of the holograms I thought was great, and that gave the actor, I like the actor a lot now because of how he was able to act three distinctly different. So that was great, he impressed me, but I don't want to see just a Han Solo because that's going to feel so out of place. But the fact that when Picard called him out for saying, "You're still Starfleet," made me sense that as this goes on, the rogues are going to be more and more regimented. All ex-Starfleet are all going to go be much more like classic Starfleet by the end because of Picard's influence. At least I hope that. So I saw great potential in what he could be, even if he was very sort of roguey, and it's like, okay, good for you. There are lots of those characters. So the character stuff was better than it could have been, but there's very little story stuff, basically nothing that progressed the story, and the entire chateau stuff in the second half. I thought the first 20 minutes were better than the second 20 minutes, or the last 20 minutes. I thought the first 20 minutes were good, But this episode reeks of reshoots of the entire Chateau End bit, the fight scene, the conversations. It's retreading. I don't buy the agent being captured. He's there to kill Picard. Do you know how you know that? Because their guns don't have stun, and they go in shooting. So they're trying to kill them. The guy's captured. He has a capsule which he can spit venom with. They've already killed Daj in that method. All this to do is they've killed Picard. Mission done in his suicide. But no, he waits until the last minute to commit suicide. That entire sequence reeks of a reshoot that isn't fitting. Like they had to pad time. Mm-hmm. If it was just the character introductions and the Soji stuff, which was sort of boring, but there were seeds of interesting, it would have been stronger. But there's too many unneeded bits, and where you've only got 10 episodes, every moment should be important. And the first two had important things. I really liked last week with all their big canon information, like they're pushing the story of the universe forward. This had nothing of that at all. So I was disappointed overall, but it's not as bad as I saw first viewing, but it wasn't good by any stretch, and still the worst of the three in my opinion. And I think you could easily cut a good 15 minutes out of it, just whole cloth, and improve it no end.
I believe that. I agree with that. I do think it was better than episode 2 though, but that's just me.
I just love all the intrigue stuff in episode 2. Every scene is a new that's big. That's the story. This is actually this character. Oh my god, they're Romulan. Oh my god, this. It's like all these cool reveals, and this had nothing. Except the sunglasses, Stuart. The single best invention in Star Trek. The sunglasses of epic. She's a villain. Yeah, the sunglasses are villainy. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Well, I disagree that this had nothing to reveal. I mean, we got the captain. We got.
Those aren't reveals. More Raffi's character things. They're not story reveals. I mean, specifically story reveals. What do we get? Story reveals.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
That's why I said character stuff. They're actually good. Like I said, I was impressed how much I liked, but there's no story to it. That's why. I mean, it should have been one movie, and then you kind of I need something, a hook to get me storied.
Yeah. Well, Fleet Pass Whipback puts in $1.99, 112 likes. Oh yeah, keep hitting that like. # make me pay. 258 of you here, so guys, hit that like button. We will
make you pay, Fleet Paw.
Joshua Sawyer throws in $25, so thanks very much. Oh my god,
dude. Joshua, Mrs. Sawyer. My mum's name is Saya, so you're close. You're just as awesome as her, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not quite, but it's great. Thanks.
What Starfleet ships do you think we will see in this season other than the Rescue Fleet?
Oh.
I want to see a Sovereign. I don't think we'll see one, but I want to see one. That's all I need. Just one. Other than that, maybe a Nova class Rhode Island, something like that. But
I can see Defiant refits because they can do a lot with that space frame, and a refit E or the F or the Verity in flashbacks. Depends if they're going to keep using the flashback formula or not. I don't know, it depends how much money they want to spend, because it kind of feels like a lower end season so far. They're being very restrained, so I think the second half might be very big budgeted, or I hope anyway. Like the second plot, just like the Mirror Universe was a second plot with a lot of money spent to create those sets and those costumes. Like that was a big Sun expense. I think we might get that, a Sun shift or a Sun whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Toreth 69, $5. I agree with Samuel about this episode and the other two.
But lots of people agree with you too, Stuart. It's very much, I think, 50-50 on this one, the audience.
I hope so. Jeff Jacobs, $2. Jeff! I did a workaround on internet super chat for you. Yeah, Jeff had an ice storm, so his internet's down.
Oh gosh, ice storm? Are you okay? Is the house okay?
Oh, it's fine. It's just.
Will the Prometheus still be around? Yes, Bill, absolutely, and still a capable starship. Certainly.
And Phil Heads puts in $2. Season arc reveal is Rhonda and Disordered Romulans.
We'll get there. I rewatched that obviously a minute ago and have questions and thoughts and questions.
Yeah.
But there you go, guys. That is our overall general review. Now let's get to the scene-by-scene breakdown.
Yes, let's get it done. So we got some
Engage.
Flashbacks to the Utopia Planitia attack.
Mm-hmm. But they're longer sequences. They show the satellite to more of the end, and they show more of the space station getting destructed. And weird, for some reason, the android has a completely different hacking effect than last week.
Yeah.
It's not at all the same, but it's the same robot because the same lighting, the same shooty. maybe the other one wasn't done yet, and they made a new one. Bit
Don't
weird.
know.
Bit weird.
Don't.
What do you think
It
of
was-
what do you think of starting with like a double flashback to remind you? Not even last time on. We already had that. We have last time on and then this. What do you think?
What do I think about that? I
Well, yeah,
thought it
'cause
would lead into another flashback, which it did kind of, because it's Starfleet 14 years later, and then you get the Picard thing. But this wasn't really needed, in my opinion. It's just a reminder, like, hey, guess what?
After a last time on as well.
Shit happened. Yeah, exactly.
It would
And
have been better to actually have a new bit of sequence, like progress that story few more minutes, and then cut to this. You know.
Well, I noticed that there was not only the boot up sequence for the android was wrong, or the hacking with the eyes, but he also doesn't have F8 on his forehead in the one scene where he's shooting.
He
So
doesn't.
no.
Ooh. That's really interesting. Huh. Maybe
Even if you zoom in when he turns, it looks like there's something there, but you can't see it at all.
But one of them is certainly missing that mid shot. There's nothing there. That's wow. So do you think maybe it was done the head thing was done in CG, not makeup?
Ooh, I don't know. Because when he holds the gun up to his head, then it's there again. So
that's really strange.
Yeah.
So 2 continuity flubs in the post-pretal sequence, pre-episode sequence. That's bizarre. Well, good catch. But yes, then we get the planet nuked. Although I really wish we actually see the turrets firing. So it looks like it's being nuked, but it isn't. It's being hit by platforms.
Yeah.
Which is why there's so many. But yes, Flash. We get a beautiful integration of a CG building. So there's not a real building, guys. It's not a real building. And it cuts down, and we see Jean-Luc Picard and Ravi in their pre-Picard, post-Nemesis uniforms. The one in between, the missing link uniform, Stuart, and we've already done some content on that. Tune in tomorrow for that. And a de-aged Patrick Stewart, just enough.
Yeah.
Just
and
enough.
Joshua Sawyer puts in another $25.
Oh, God.
Is as awesome as your mom.
Yeah.
Got to get on the road driving. Keep up the great work, guys. Well, thank you very much, Joshua. Listen, but don't be unsafe. Make sure you're driving safely. So.
Well, you've definitely made it an excellent live, so thank you so much. And Donnie's here too, and he apologises for not being here for the first half an hour. Tish Pshaw.
So disappointed in you, Donnie.
We'll enjoy from now on, but stay live and go back and watch the rest earlier. But yes, this was a nice scene. I really wish though that it when we watched the scene, knowing he was let himself go basically, it would be nice to see one scene of him as a commanding figure, because he plays it sad again. And the entire season's him been sad so far. It would be nice to see him actually be the captain, the admiral that we know. Yes, he was there and look, but
which I think we might get more of. There might be flashbacks to build up their relationship. I think we need that for these two, because unless you read the comics, I don't really count. So
yeah.
James Malloy puts in $10 Canadian.
Oh.
Thank you very much, James.
Thank you.
Says, first comment, but loyal viewer.
Thank you.
My episode
Hi,
opinion lines up with the captain this time. But what I love about Trekyards is even when I disagree with an opinion, I understand the reasoning behind it. That's what we aim for.
And that's the difference between us and other channels or other things. We say why, and there's a reason. It's not just, I hate this, I hate that. It's, don't like it because. So you can disagree with the reasoning, but you can understand the reasoning. Because it's all subjective, but as long as you can back it up.
Yeah.
And
Fleetpaw Swiftback puts in $1.99 and says, I prefer these over the ones they're wearing later. Yeah, we have an episode coming out about uniforms specifically, so watch that because we talk about that kind of thing. And Polar Apple, $2.
That's a cool name.
Want to see Seven in a sexy tight cat suit. 10 out of 10. I'm sure she won't be wearing anything like that, unfortunately.
Bell's probably in a contract saying, not do that.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm absolutely fine with that, to be honest. She did her time.
She did. And Sturm vom Alk puts in $5. You can't point out continuity issues. It is just visual retcon of a previous episode. Vulcans don't need sunglasses. You can't point out that. What? Okay.
He's saying, you can't point that out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they don't need sunglasses and it's dumb, but we'll get there.
All right.
I was joking to my mum, we also watched this, because I tend to watch them with them, because, yeah, that's nice. And I said, I'll make that a meme, sunglasses, like dumb Trek, and it'll cut to the close of the sunglasses. It's kind of like Spock, I like science.
I shared one on Twitter where it's got Jonathan Frakes standing like this with his uniform on with the sunglasses waiting for like the scene to start or whatever. And one with Patrick Stewart wearing sunglasses when he was shooting Generations.
Oh, yeah.
And it said, who wore it better? And there's those two. So, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but it is their version of I like science. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. So he comes out and she's like, so you talked about the ships, right? With the inventories from Beta Antares and Iridani A, we can, make this work. We have enough ships. But they threw manpower at you, didn't they? Oh, that's okay. I got the duty rosters. And, of course, we can get from Tanaka and personnel. I love how she added that. But we can get the synths to help. And that's when
very proactive.
The first news is dropped that, the synths are outlawed now. All active ones are being dismantled. They say it was a flaw in the programming. And she's like, that's bullshit. There's another swearing in this one. That's bullshit.
But I don't really accept a swear word as much.
Yeah.
Because it's an expression more than a swear word in my world, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And, a synth just doesn't wake up one day and feel, be homicidal.
It's a good
line.
So
she's already on the conspiracy thing. She thinks that the Romulans are behind it. And Picard's like, why would they sabotage their own rescue fleet? Because he's totally dismissing the Tal Shiar thing, like right out the gate. So I kind of like this whole sequence just for the dialogue. I think it was very well done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was, you said in our earlier live, it's weird that he didn't say, Raffi, look, I was forced to resign. Like, to let her go on for that long. I guess he's in shock, but this is your friend.
Yeah.
It's like he would have stopped Riker. Will, no, stop. This happened. Like, first thing he would say.
Well, I think you're right about the shock thing, though. It's one of those, he's letting it sink in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the way the scene ends, too, with him on the bench with his head hung low. Like, it's just...
And again, credit to the de-aging, credit to the actress here, because I like her energy. And it's so different to her energy later on, which is, a drug addict. I mean, that's what she is. She's an addict to lots of things. Addict to sadness as well. Here, she's proactive and looks good in uniform and go-getter. Clearly, she loves being his XO and I mean, can't have been for very long at all because she was, the E was only 6 years ago. He was on there for a little bit longer, I think at least a year. And he wouldn't have been, so he, nowhere near as long as Riker was. But I do think they're kind of forcing the connection. 13 years of Riker, 14 years as XO, and Patrick says he's proud. The very last scene together, they look at each other. They don't hug. This is really nice, gentle, respectful. And here's her like, oh, JL, da-da-da-da. And it's like, wow, I guess he's getting really lax in his older age. So he kind of feels a bit forced. Like, look, she's great. When it should have been, I said to you in our review, that it should have been more respectful. And then they've had a few things in between in the 14 years to get more informal. And then he betrays her by not talking to her, whatever. So bit weird, but whatever. It was what they were going for. So.
And Jarzia throws in $5. Thank you very much. Hiding the eyes makes it harder to read someone's intentions. It's probably done for psychological reasons, and she may have acclimated to a dim lit office. Her office was not dimly lit. I don't know if you saw the last episode, but it's pretty much all glass. And then even at the top, and you saw sunlight streaming in.
And lens flares, very bright lens flares.
So much so there was lens flares, yes.
Don't buy it for a second, but thanks for trying.
Yeah, and intimidation, no, don't buy it. She doesn't have to intimidate anybody like that. She's a Vulcan.
Because you know how you say a lot of stuff through the eyes? You can more intimidate with your eyes than without your eyes. Like, seriously.
Not playing poker.
Yeah, no, exactly. But this scene was good, although I wish we'd seen him be a proud officer, and now I'm sad that we didn't get to see it. But great de-aging.
Well, I'm sure we will see it, though.
Hopefully.
Hope so.
I mean, they built the uniform for him. It'd be a shame for one scene.
And Steven Alvarez puts in $5.
Thank you.
Sunglasses are definitely dumb, but it's funny to imagine they're a goofy part of Starfleet Intelligence Secret Service men in black in the infield uniform. Watch our video on it. We did a short little video on it today.
She's the head of Starfleet Security. She's so beyond that. She doesn't need to be whatevering the whatevering. No. Whatever. And I want to, again point out, this is a very cheap sequence. It's two people on a bench with very out of focus stuff. They're saving their money because all these scenes feel really cheap, as in efficient. Cheap is a wrong word. Efficient. That I bet they save their money for later on, because this whole season so far has been very carefully made. It's not, it doesn't feel big budget, even though it's the most expensive TV show ever made for Trek. But this sequence again is incredibly. I mean, this is a single afternoon shoot. It's just the cost of getting the crew there, and if it's in LA, then it's just a drive. Very efficient. But the costumes make a big deal of it. You can have a generic location, you put in a good-looking costume, which does. I mean, boy, Patrick looks so much better in uniform. Yeah. I mean, does it just make you wish, just like we wished to see Mark Hamill as the Jedi Master? Imagine seeing him as a full season wearing this.
Yeah, no
God, I mean, that would have been much better.
And Arco Noeden says sunglasses because Vulcan is so dark? ? Don't know what you know about Vulcan, but Vulcans have a second set of inner eyelids that protect their eyes from UV, essentially, because their planet is pretty much all a desert. So, no.
Back to the present, an old-looking Picard.
Well, before that, though, she gets her pad beeps, and she has to go in and see the CNC. And she's like, oh, great, you resign, and I get canned. And then she walks away, and he's like, Raffi!
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite make sense, does it?
No.
And neither does the fact that when she's like, but you're Jean-Luc Picard, you always have one crazy idea to go through. He's like, this was my last crazy idea. I didn't think they'd actually take it. And then he just gives up.
Although in her snarkiness, it's kind of a snarky response. Of course you wouldn't think that they would accept your resignation. Like, kind of like you have this arrogance that you're Jean-Luc Picard, and because you are.
Yeah.
But the response could have been, the way she said it could have been either snarky and sarcastic, or like, well, of course you wouldn't think that they would do that. Could have gone either way, and it's hard to read how she meant it, but there was a little bit of snark there, so I think it's going back to his arrogance.
It just feels so weird that this great man that always tries to find a solution just gives up. Yes, he's now lost his power to do anything, but there's still 90 million Romans who've clearly invested in saving. So you're now just going to say, right, I guess I can't do anything. I guess I'll go to my chateau and let them all die. Cool. Peace out. That's not that character. That's not what he would do. If he thinks it's right, he would try and do something else. Go to the Vulcans, say, hello, Vulcans. I don't need to be in Starfleet to get you guys help. Can we send some ships? Great. Hello, Grand Nagus Nog. I'd like to sell you my vineyard, or give you wine for the next 100 years if you give me some ships. It feels so strange to see this man just give up. And I guess they're trying to tell us he's an old out of time actor, out of time character. But it's only 5 years past Nemesis, when he was Dune Buggy, when he was like, I've always wanted to try the Argo. 5 years later, I've given up. I've just given up in life. 5-6 years is not. That actually is kind of a sad, depressing parallel, isn't it?
The thing too is we don't know what happened to Beverly yet. What if they were going to, or they started a relationship and then she died? So it's something in his personal life that things break you down, and it could be to the point where he's just like, whatever.
No, I could say, but they shouldn't kill any of the TNG cast.
No,
I know. Or if she turned him down, because I can see after, they got married, Deanna and Thingy, him saying, look, Beverly, let's give this a try. And she's like, no, Jean-Luc. For whatever reason. But yeah, it just seems really out of character, because only 6 years ago.
Well, Sovereign 506 puts in €10. Thank you. To summarize this episode, it was Star Trek finally. Yes, the sunglasses were kind of silly. The rest was quite good. The two new characters have been well introduced. Stewart again, smashing good. So yeah.
I agree with half of that. Disagree with the other half.
And that's all right.
But yes, now we are back in the present. And I kind of hated that it was actually Vasquez Rocks.
That was entirely stupid. We've been there.
Yeah.
When you're up on the rock, you can see houses. You can see housing developments. The highway's on the other side. Don't get me started on this wide shot because those mountains aren't really there. I mean, it's stupid. I do like that they finally used actual Vasquez rocks in a Star Trek or thing because it's always another planet. It's been multiple planets, so it's kind of funny that they put Vasquez rocks there. But that shot just bugs me to no end because we've been there and it does not look like that.
See, for me, it being literally Vasquez Rocks is so J.J. Abrams thinking. It's like the reference itself is like saying it's like Spock yelling Khan. It's so on the nose that it loses all of its smart. Like part of the funniness is that TOS, they found a good location. They used it for every planet, like in that sort, and then they went back a few times and used it. But it was never Vasquez Rocks. It was alien planets. So if they'd said Nevada Desert, Texas, or Nevada, Las Vegas, and it was Vasquez Rocks, it's like, okay, oh look, it's Vasquez Rocks. But actually having it be Vasquez Rocks is like, oh, well, that's not clever at all. That's just
welcome to the writing team.
Yeah, I really didn't like that. I didn't. It was too. It loses the subtlety of the funny joke.
Yeah.
Because now you're saying every planet does look like Vasquez Rocks, so now Vasquez Rocks is in canon.
Yep.
That's weird to me. I didn't like that. I kind of groaned.
Look like that in the future.
I kind of groaned when I saw that. And yeah, it doesn't look like that.
I did too.
Doesn't look like Vasquez Rocks would have been there. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been where that thing is, and if you look the direction of those mountains, there's like housing developments. So something massive must have happened. They remade mountains in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eugene, 250 rubles. What? Some last desperate wild solution. He's Jean-Luc Picard, not James Tiberius Kirk. Yeah, I can't see Kirk accepting that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But I would have thought he would go just to Riker and say, Riker, look, I know you've only got one ship, but let's just go do it ourselves. Because they said no to build a new fleet. They didn't say no to use an existing fleet. Again, the situation hasn't been told properly, so it's hard to kind of go into it too much. I'm sure it'll be more evolved. But it's such a contrived situation. But guys, what is not contrived is 337 people watching, which is brilliant.
Awesome.
But only 158 likes. You you need to give more likes. I want to see 100.
We should get 250.
250?
We can get to 250 with 337 people here. Come on now.
Okay, you are challenging our audience. Do you even think they're good enough? Are you challenging them because you don't think they're good enough? Is that what you're saying?
I know they're good enough, and that's why I know that they can find a little button that looks like a thumbs up and hit it.
Okay.
And make it blue. Hit it so hard that it turns black and blue, but without the black. Just make it blue.
But I'm not convinced. If we don't hit 250, I don't know. I think you guys are smart, but prove us wrong, or prove him right, me wrong, whatever.
Just hit like. It's pretty simple.
But yeah, you get the mobile home, which I like because you never see the inside. They never built a set. It's just a wooden I like it's just a wooden exterior with a porch, which is heavily decorated. I kind of like we never see inside. But Raffi Spooey says, "Look at the hovel I'm in." It's like, but you're in LA, just outside LA. You can beam anywhere. Your food and water are not need to be paid for. You've got replicator. What you've chosen to live here, next to LA, a major city. Why are you complaining about life? I don't understand why she's in this squalor when people can just live. They can just ask to have an apartment in a city and live there. I don't understand why she's so depressed about life when in Trek you find your own meaning. You don't have to live for anything. And she's saying, look at my little hovel. It's not your chateau. Well, then why didn't you go ask him, could I live on the chateau? Can I help you with the chateau? It was right there. You could have asked him. Why didn't you go to... You know what I mean? I don't know why
because she says, why didn't you come and check on me all these years? Why do you have to come to me when you need an unregistered starship and a pilot?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing well. You could have checked on me. He's like, I know I let you down. So it's a pride thing. It's like, he's not going to come see me. Fine, I'm not going to go see him. And it just builds this animosity. That's the way things happen, unfortunately.
But I just didn't. This hovel looks nice. Like, if you've got a replicator in a comfy bed, like, what else do you need? I don't know why she's complaining about that she's in this humiliated place. It's like, it's the Federation you choose. Like, she could live on Andor, or she could live wherever she wants in the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's giving herself this exile and living a shitty life because she's choosing to. It feels very, like, she's not poor, you know? Strange.
Yeah.
Like, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody said they looked up Vasquez Rocks on Google Earth and see mountains. Well, I've looked it up on Google Earth right now, and you can see all the housing developments around the one side, which surprised me when we went. I didn't think it was... I thought it was in the middle of the desert. But yeah, you had to be careful when you're up taking pictures because you'd see the housing development, and the other side has a highway. Mm-hmm. So that picture that they used here is 1,000% inaccurate. So anyway.
Well, it looked like CG'd...
Oh, it looked awful, but yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. It really didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's having the snake plant, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. The vaporizer thing.
She's
and she's
a
like,
drug addict. Yay.
You know, back to smoking this. You know, same as always, or back to what I know.
And someone else posted on Facebook how Tom Paris in Voyager says that humans are beyond smoking. We learned that centuries ago.
Yeah.
I mean, she's obviously now civilian. She do what she wants, but it's sad. I mean, it feels like an alien thing, but it's so just a vape pen with drugs in it. Like, it's so small-minded, you know. Yeah. That's why I tend to hang a sci-fi lantern on it, you know. Maybe she's using, maybe you know, she has to take an Andorian stim because she has supreme depression. It's addictive, but it keeps her mellow. No, she's just using drugs. You know.
Yep.
Gene would not like this.
No.
Neither would the TNG writers or the DS9 writers.
Yeah. Well, Eugene throws in 200 rubles and says space vape. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. Now they can actually sell Star Trek vape pens.
And Bill Barker says, not drugs, it's a vape thing. I mean, she puts a drug in it, and then it vaporizes it.
Yeah.
So it is drugs. It's just space drugs, which vaporizes a drug.
She said it's a I forget exactly what she says, but
made her paranoid over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and Picard talks to her for a bit. I do like how she puts him on the spot, saying, "You didn't see me once. 14 years. You left of your own volition. I got let go for whatever reason. You didn't even say hello." Now, I know that they said in behind the scenes that you didn't even say hi to, like, Riker and his old crew. But it's like, if you cared about him, you could have said hi too. You know, you chose not to say hi. You know, he has more to fall from grace than you do. Sorry, Lieutenant Commander. Sorry, the Admiral, two-time flagship captain, didn't come say hi to you. One of his 5 XOs, who you only served with for 2 years. I'm sorry, you're not that important, woman. I'm sorry. Riker is someone who...
Wow.
Well, I mean...
That's not how life works, man.
But you know what I mean, though? She's so unimportant in his grand scheme of his life that she's like... You know, she should go say hi to him.
I disagree with that because he helped her get off the drugs early, and you know, he helped her essentially. That's not how life works. Just because you spend more time with a particular person doesn't mean that somebody you just meet can't be like important to you.
No, I didn't say she's not important, but Riker's obviously way more important, and just you know, just felt like, yeah. Again, you haven't built her up, so to make her this most important person. Whereas if she really cared about him that much, she should go say hi to him. She would be low on his list of people to go see, potentially. Yeah,
but he's also, like you said, the great and powerful admiral. You know, it's like you or I like expecting Doug Drexler to come check on us, whereas we could go check on him.
No, exactly.
But a lot of times we don't want to impose because we think he's too busy or he's got other things going on or he's too important. So we don't want to seem like just the little annoying little gnats that are like, hey, you know, it's kind of that analogy.
But I think she's doing it to herself. That she didn't. She didn't
she
even
absolutely
try.
is.
Okay.
And she's using it as a blame tactic for him. She's projecting it on him, so she has a reason to still continue to hate him, even though she's got a lot of respect for the guy.
So, no, I do think that it'll be an evolving story. I absolutely agree with that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, she basically says, piss off, and she takes off, and he's left there by himself. And he's like, Rafi, and he goes after her. But then we get a cut to another scene.
The editing is disjointed here. You didn't need this many. Nope. Yeah, that wasn't strong.
Because I want to call this out that you said the episode would probably start here, and it didn't. In our prediction video, you said it'd probably start on the Borg cube.
Oh.
So, ha.
Or I said right from the start of the other scene, which I was also wrong about. But no, I love the inclusion of the new version of the alcove. That was a good visual, exactly what we expect, just a wall of alcoves. And when it had a fade in, as it was starting to get interesting, it fades into the single person. I was like, oh, can we go a bit further this shot, please?
And I loved going through the cube and hearing the Borg sounds.
Yeah.
Like you hear the.
Yeah.
Jersey got $5. It also bugs me that she complains he didn't check up on her when apparently she wanted nothing to do with him after what happened. Well, yeah, that's again human nature.
It's what you say in the moment.
It's like when your girlfriend's like, fine, and she storms off, and you're like, oh shit. You don't follow her, and then all of a sudden, why didn't you follow me? Why the hell did you walk away then? It's just confusing human nature.
The thing is, they're both in the wrong. It's just they're each individual people. She's not that important, but he could have said hi. But we know that he didn't say hi to Riker and such. He went full isolationist, and that's his fault. But she didn't know that. I just think that I mean, her whole
he's having parties every weekend with like Riker and Geordi over.
Wesley, hello, Wesley. Yes, let's go party. Where's that snake leaf, my son?
Or a wine bong.
Or Earl Grey infused vodka.
Hey,
this is the good shit. Tuvok. Yes. Oh God, it's good. But
yeah, a big shot so we could throw a lot of parties in.
It'd be great. But you get some Borg, and I love this Hugh introduction because it is the most gentle, casual Hugh introduction ever. Now, if you haven't seen TNG, he's just a guy. There was no setup for him whatsoever, and even I think most people could be forgiven to not even recognize him until they say Hugh, and you're like, oh, he was a Borg in TNG, because I mean most of his face is covered. Like, you couldn't recognize him, I don't think.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. If we hadn't just watched Borg and Descent, and I didn't even know he was in this, let's say, just saying, and he came on screen, I'd be like, who the hell is that? Yep. He's familiar.
Yep.
IMDb. Oh shit, it's you. That would be one of those moments.
Yep. Or they'd say he was Hugh, and you'd be like, oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
But I kind of love how they approach that he's just the guy, that he's not the renegade. He's not the guy that is running for his life. He's not fighting for a faction. No. He is like the hero he's the Borg hero, basically. And considering where he was in Descent, this is the best thing that could have happened for him. Seriously. Like, that's a good arc for him. Yeah, actually think about it. Happens to get saved by Enterprise D, messes up a lot of Borg's life, but makes a mini rebellion, and then happens to become the head of the Restoration Project to save more Borg. Great. Good for him. Perfect.
Yep. And Eugene throws in 200 rubles. XO, was that term used in Star Trek? I thought it was mostly first officer or number one. I don't know if I've ever heard XO referred to in Star Trek.
I think I have. My gut says I have, but not. Yeah, I think so.
We'd have to look up specific instances, but I believe maybe once or twice it might have been mentioned. It's all the same thing anyway. Executive officer. So.
But Mita says, I wish he was more important to the story. He was just introduced. I hope and think we'll get there. And one thing I like about him is that he's very subtle. He didn't stand out that much, but that in itself, in second watch, that's how much of a boss he is. That he doesn't have to talk fast or loud or like... He's been there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. He's just here doing his thing. Like, he's so chill. And he's not going to feel uncomfortable in a Borg cube. This is like now his second home. So I like his characterization. As gentle and simple as it is, I like it.
I like his description of the Borg and what are going on there. Like, people either see us as property to be exploited or as a hazard to be warehoused. Our hosts, the Romulans, have a more expansive vision. They see us as both.
That's a line. That is a line. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, he essentially allows G to get her interview with Rhonda. Apparently, she's been pestering him for a while now. I kind of love that. Oh, she's so happy to get the thing with Rhonda, and he's basically like, well, you've been pestering me for a while now. I just love that.
Mm-hmm. It tells you this is so, like, she's actually quite a specialist person. Like, there's history here. We can move on from that. Although I think that sort of, I think we're gonna skip past her helping psychologist routes quite quickly, because this entire subplot for her felt bonus. Like, they had to find something for her to do that didn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is she...
We find out she's an anthropologist.
Yeah. But why would she need to interview a Romulan to get... I mean, we'll get there in a bit, but I don't really see it as being that important.
Because this lady had written a lot of books and stuff on Romulan, their shared mythos, even though mythology is not a word in Romulan, but anyway. And she thinks that as part of therapy, a shared common mythos for a particular group of people is a great framework to start getting them back into their... It makes sense. So that's essentially why. That's what I got from it.
Well, I mean,
she wants to help them.
I know it's a later scene, but can you please? Because I still don't get it. Can you elaborate? So if I'm a Borg drone, right, and you would,
but you're human, so you'd want to learn about human history, human mythology, things that tie you to other humans to help you reawaken your human side.
Oh, not shared mythos of the drones.
No, the shared mythos of the Romulans.
Well, of anybody.
Well, no, she went to her specifically for Romulan mythology.
But there's only like, but she walks in the room as like, oh, they're all Romulans. Like, she doesn't know there's only 6 Romulans, and she doesn't know all the ones that are crazy are Romulans. So they can't just be Romulans, because there's only a few of them, and she doesn't know they're all there. But she knows everything else, so that would seem unlikely.
I think because the Romulans have such a structured and interesting mythos or past, that she was going to use them as an experiment. Sure, she might not have known how many there were. But I think because this lady was so expertised in that kind of thing,
that's a stronger point.
It's like if it's like, let's say there are human Borg drones, which I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
If there was a specific archaeologist or historian in that group, she'd go to them as well. Right. That's the kind of the feeling I got from that.
So it wasn't...
It was to help with therapy.
So it wasn't... Because I like that. That makes more sense. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I took from it was she was trying to create a mythos between all the ex-Borg. As in, look, guys, we all have this joint idea. I'm going to say that Thor helped us all in our past, and we can all value Thor as part of our joint Borg past. And that will help you get, like, I didn't understand the point of it. It seemed very...
It evolved on the fly as she was talking to her. She's like, when the Romulan says, I don't like the word mythology, there's no such Romulan word. Oh, what do you call it? I call it the news. She's like, that's when she had that spark of, she's like, that's great. I like that. A shared Borg mythos that is basically as relevant as the current news. So she's going to use the shared Borg mythos that's not created because they've all been assimilated and now de-assimilated as a structural framework to start the healing process, because they've all had a similar experience.
But that has nothing to do with the mythology. That's just, people have something in common.
It's a smaller mythology. Start with that first.
But wouldn't that have been the first thing she tried? Like, you're like in a focus group, you'd say, we've all been assimilated. That's why you're here. Let's talk about it. So I don't get that necessarily as strong.
You can see you can see it in her eyes when it's mentioned about the news, and she's like, I love that. And she kind of, you see her explain it.
Whereas I took that bit. Sorry, before you just because we're almost at the end of that bit. I took that more the second half as she's saying, "Oh, you guys take it so literally that I can use that as a way of saying, well, the history of the past is just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really. It was not a great set of stuff. I'll be honest. I think you'd agree with me that it doesn't quite work.
No, that's why I don't remember this part. I could do without this part in the whole episode.
Yeah.
Sovereign 506 puts in 20 euros.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Starfleet and the Federation, we know, are gone because of everything that happened after the Dominion War. Shinzon, Phobos, and Mars. So I think they did a great job showing us the darker and disillusioned Picard looking for his place.
No. Did you see all good things? Starfleet Federation still existed just fine. Did you see Endgame? I mean, we've seen the possible futures with the Dominion War still happening, and everyone's fine.
I think they just meant a little disillusioned.
Oh.
You know, they had this massive war. I don't know.
I don't agree. That's too drastic, and we're being shown that it still exists, clearly, because there's still a CNC of Starfleet, and lots of people walking around, and an archive, and no one's starving.
He's not saying Starfleet's literally gone.
Well...
He's saying that it's a different feel now, a different vibe.
Well,
they've been disillusioned.
Should have said that more specifically, Sovereign, because I don't agree with how you're saying that exactly.
Well, that's why they said the Starfleet and the Federation that we know are gone because of everything that happened.
I mean, they evolve. Anyway. Yeah.
Sturm vom Alk puts in $5. How funny would it be to have a scene later on with Captain Wesley Crusher saying "Shut up, Picard"? That'd be awesome. He comes on screen. Wesley comes on screen, and Picard's like, "Listen here, Wesley," and he starts to go into his little speech because Rios was warned that he's a speech maker, and yeah, that'd be funny if Captain Wesley's like, "Shut up, Picard."
Yep.
Or "Shut up, Jean-Luc." That'd be hilarious.
Although, since we know that they can swear, I'd be like, "Fuck you, Picard." For all the time he said, "Shut up, fuck you," and I was like, "What?" No, that'd be funny, actually. I could see that being quite...
I love that.
Yeah.
Eugene, 350 rubles. I understand it is trying to help specifically Romulan drones, but there aren't many. Also, she did speak with Nameless in its native tongue. What is that tongue? I have no idea what the tongue was.
She doesn't know either. She doesn't, because now we know that she can just do things without realizing. He was surprised, and she just said it. Her brain saw the species. She said it instinctively, but didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of odd too when she said, "Have you read Ramda's dossier?" And he was like, "No, have you? How'd you get that information?" Well, I just asked. I don't think she asked. I think that's all stuff in her positronic brain that's now coming out. Because even later, she knows about all this. Like, she knows about the 25 people on this Romulan ship, and she knows the name of the ship. And I doubt the Romulans would necessarily give her that information. So it didn't seem out of place at first, but the more you listen to that line delivery, it doesn't work. So she's starting to realize things.
That's why this one's a better second watch, because the few little bits of story progression you can then see throughout. But I like to do it. She doesn't like, because they specifically say we don't know what race this is of the first dude in the last episode. No idea, and yet she speaks his language. I called that out at the time, saying what? And yeah, Hugh's reaction's like, you have the secrets? What? You're just... I'm the director of this damn institute, and I can never get anything. How do you, Miss Psychologist, have anything?
Yeah.
But he's so chill about it. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I love... Like, he's just like, oh. Yeah. I guess that's important then. Sure.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. 209 likes. We'll go again at 250. We can do it. Well, 367 of you here. As I said, we can easily get to 250. It just takes a second to click that like button, guys. 250 is still my goal, so do it.
I've got two clever comments. Streak9 and Medallion say she can speak 5 billion languages except for Sith. Oh, but she can speak it, but not allowed to speak it out loud. That's good. I like it. I like it. That's funny. But Soji definitely felt like an afterthought in this episode.
Oh, absolutely. This was not well done.
And
far
as
that's
you said, Narek felt like a so drastically car crash or
Eric was awful in this episode. Yeah.
It's like when they focus on you, you get good stuff, like the captain, like the XO. When they don't, you kind of get sidelined, almost as if whoever's writing it does the main scenes and then gets the secondary writer to write the second stuff without really,
Yeah.
It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange.
Zarkon Grissom puts in $5 so she can just do stuff when the plot needs it to happen. Reminds me of someone else. Raise the ray shields. This plot is thick. Well, she's not a Mary Sue, though. There's an explanation for why and how she can do things. So it's not a Mary Sue trope, unfortunately.
And it was built, and we talked about how they revealed stuff in episode 1. Knowing she's an android in episode 1 stops us from saying that. Because, I mean, if Data was actually... That one episode where he's been like sub-controlled by his dad's programming, like he can speak in Picard's voice, he can control the entire computer. Like they can do androids if they want to be malicious, do whatever they want. Lord didn't have access to lots of information, otherwise he would have used it. Data's never been mean about it. If Data wanted to be an expert in something, he could download all the information and then go. It's that she has all the information, just can't access it natively until. I think it's a good way of doing it. Although I'm pretty sure she's gonna be know who she is sooner rather than later. Because I can't see them again spinning the wheels on that plot of her be like, but I'm just Soji. Like I think it's gonna have to swap quite abruptly into like, I know who I am, but I can't tell you where my dad is. Oh wait, he's over here. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Zarkon Grissom said, I thought she was an android brain in a human flesh body. No, she's synth organic, so her whole being is essentially created by man, but is very close to being organic.
Yeah. She's like Wayland Yutani androids and alien, just without the fake blood. Yeah, she's just an android with a human-y thing. But anyway, so yes, he goes to see Ravi, and she's a drinking. And you have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. But she says, no, I will not help you. I will not help you.
Yeah. He wants her back because she sees connections where he can't sometimes. And she's like, no, I won't go down that rabbit hole with you. Piss off. Get out of here, essentially. And as he's walking away, she's like, oh, by the way, I have a pilot for you. His name's Rios. He'll be calling you. Bye.
Yeah.
It's like, make up your mind. Whoa. Like, I hate you. Oh, come back. You got wine. Oh, I hate you. I'm walking away. Oh, we're going to have a heart-to-heart. Oh, I hate you. Go away. Oh, by the way, I got a pilot for you. It's fine. No, you're using me for a pilot. It's good. Go.
No, I took that as if I give you a pilot, you'll be out of my hair. I can help you in the sense of now you're gone. Go.
I love how Picard knows her, though, because later when he messages her, and he's like, are you doing your research? She's like, no. He knew she was. Oh, okay, well, here's all the information on Maddox.
Yep.
Carry on. And
oh, no, I think he knows at this point he's got her in some form. But this scene I did think was a little bit of a retread. You didn't need the second scene, or it should have been smaller. Like this should have been straight after the first scene and shorter. It was a bit too long, and this whole episode feels a bit padded. And if you only got 10 episodes, you shouldn't be padding anything. Every scene should be important. Everything should be a setup. Yeah.
Cinnabon Bonnie puts in $5.
Thank you.
So it's got to run. We'll watch the rest later. Have a good day, Trekyards, and everyone. See you later, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Trooper 116. So it's reasonable to say that Soji is more advanced than Data.
Yes.
But she's an evolution from. So it makes sense. Then you get one of the shortest scenes in Trek kind. You get
Soji's on her lunch, or not Soji. Agnes is on her lunch break.
Yep, with a space station, and then revealed is Commodore sunglasses. But first, earpods. She's listening to opera, and then sorry, hello. It's like, oh, they have earpods now. Cool. Although no, you don't even see them, so I bet she didn't even have props because you don't see them. But anyway, it's Commodore sunglasses, and as I said to you in our review, you'll see that this was absolutely just the continuity person didn't see them and forgot to tell the actress, please take. I know it's Bright, whatever the actress's name is, but you know she
This
forgot
was
to take.
jarring.
Yeah, forgot to take them off for the scene, and the director didn't notice that she was wearing sunglasses. That they assumed sunglasses were okay in Trek, but really they're not. And she looks ridiculous.
Yes,
Completely breaks the scene.
and her rank in Sydney is crooked, which I hate. But
Yeah,
anyway, it's for one small scene. You can at least make sure it's correct.
Yeah, it's laughable. She looks. I mean, I said to you, if they were space sunglasses, if they were glasses that like pointy like a Vulcan, if as soon as she walked up to her, they went black to like see through. But then you cut to her perspective and she's seeing like data. So now it's scrolling through her files. So she's like, it's a pad on her face. So she doesn't know who she is, but she's reading information. So she's saying, and I see you were, this, and this born. Then at least they're functional. But she just looks ridiculous. They look like 1980 sunglasses that she picked off the rack in Walmart. I mean, they look that dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of, I like science. Just dumb.
Yeah.
And perhaps they just forgot to take them off. I guarantee it. This is a complete kind of flub.
And I have a feeling in future episodes we're going to get a flashback to this scene and see more of it. Maybe a Vulcan mind meld of some sorts. Because I'm pretty sure that Agnes has now been threatened by the Commodore and is going to be a spy, letting her know, feeding her information for where Picard is, what he's doing. And at some point at the end of the series or the season, she's going to admit it to Picard, and they'll be like, "Oh, thank you." So she's not deliberately a bad person. She's just been threatened.
Stuart,
She doesn't seem like a strong person,
No. Well, she's a desk job person that also hasn't done any actual research properly in a decade. I mean, she's as bored and misused an operative as you can possibly do. And yeah, this scene is just there to set up that. Yeah, absolutely, she's been tasked. I loved your idea earlier on in the day where she's been mind melded. She's been slightly. I mean, this is the Commodore. This is the head of Starfleet Security, who Picard calls out later on as being good at her job and a corrupt agent. You know how Spock basically mind raped Valeris?
Yeah.
And there has been instances where a mind meld can like do something to your brain that does something. So I absolutely see this as being you cut to her like forcing mind meld, say, "You will report back when Picard finds Maddox. I will report back when I mean 100%. Otherwise this scene is dumb. And just to call out last week or last live, we got people saying, "No, they're only on IMDb. Clearly only in this episode. Look at IMDb, it's clear." And I pointed out that you can't. If you tell the audience on IMDb that Seven's only in 2 episodes or Brent's in 12 or whatever, that'd be spoilers because you want to learn as you go. And so this actress was only in 1 episode accredited. Oh look, she's back again. So clearly the IMDb means nothing because she was in 2.
Yeah,
so
we said that. We said that for a fact. So
yes, I mean she's clearly one of the villains.
Yeah, she's going to be important to this whole thing. We're going to see her again.
Yeah.
Brett Barrow puts in $2. Commodore Terminator,
and she will be back. It's good.
The Trembler, $5. In the space of a month, 2 English language sci-fi shows have introduced a character called O, who is a spy.
That was Doctor Who. Yeah.
Good guy. Jarzia, $2 Canadian. Still look better than Barclay's sunglasses in Voyager.
Oh, on the beach.
Oh. Yeah.
But he was off duty on a beach. But I guess, yeah. But still, this is dumb.
Arctic Blue 87. Starfleet Men in Black. Sorry, just had to. Yeah.
It even feels like that with a turtleneck.
The problem is, those don't make her look good. Or she doesn't make those look good.
And do just clarify as to the whole double eye theory thing. Now we're here just to because you blew me out of the water with your smart with that earlier. So just to allow the audience to know at this point, because we're here.
Yeah, well, Vulcans, because of their planet with strong UV. Anyway, it's a desert planet. They actually have developed an inner eyelid so that they could protect their eyes from that, as we find out in TOS. Yeah, there's no reason that she would need sunglasses on Earth at all, ever, not even remotely. And then other people have been saying, well, if she's a Romulan, maybe Romulans don't have that. Well, they both evolved on the same planet, so, and they've only been separated for 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know roughly, but I don't think that would necessarily go away. I know Romulus is more Earth-like than Vulcan is for sure. So maybe, but I kind of doubt it.
We've still got our appendixes, even though they haven't been used in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And that was a useful thing.
It's very true. Christopher Peterson puts in $10. Thank you very much.
Dude.
Can Commodore O wear sunglasses? Apparently she can. That's a good joke.
You, sir, are the hero among men. You paid to make a bad joke. That is a fan
Welcome
of
to
ours.
Trekyards. That's exactly.
Woo!
393 people watching right now, almost at the 400 mark. Guys, hit the like button and please let us know your thoughts on this episode.
Yeah. Nice.
Stephen Alvarez puts in $2 Australian. A highway patrol trooper. Oh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Alexander Berg puts in $2. Opera, same as Picard listened to in First Contact. Ooh. Oh, is it? Very good. Didn't notice that.
I like the opera, just not the whatever. But yes, they get back to the Borg cube, and they love having their little drone things flying around. They have a hard on for drones, whatever. But I love how many Vulcan guard, I love how many Romulan guards there are. I love the activity it feels like in this cube. I know these are obviously active areas, but there's quite a lot of people, you know. But I guess they put more money into these sets, and because the chateau, once you rent it, it's yours for however long you need it. So once you're there, it's cheap to film. This they felt like putting money into and doing.
Yeah. So he basically says this lady's got permission to go do this thing, and the Romulan's like, oh well, we need clarification from the director, and he was like, well, these people are under my control. I'm the director, so I love that. And the Romulan like immediately stands down.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, because obviously there's a couple of different parts to this base. There's the Borg reclamation. There's the Borg harvesting bit. There's just the research bit, and he is in charge of the reclamation. This is a reclamation zone. F off. Yeah. But it does it so chill. I like it. It's good.
But
that was one of the best reveals of the entire episode, was saying he was in charge of this.
Yes.
That was strong. I like that.
Yeah. But apparently she's there to meet patient 4822-2, which would be Rhonda. So there you go. Now you know her number. Little trivia thing. It'll come up in a Star Trek trivia thing sometime in the future, I'm sure. What was Rhonda's patient code in episode 3 of Picard?
My answer, don't care.
It's not something we need to know.
Nope. My question to you, Stuart, why are all of the Romulans a bit insane? Why is this treated like a insane ward? All of them.
I don't know. That bugged me too. Every time I see an insane ward like this, I'm like, how is this treating people? Letting other crazy people hang out with other crazy people in a room that's
not treatment though, is it? It's just storage. I mean, there's a force field. It's not treatment. It's just storage. Now,
True.
Are they saying that? Well, actually, there's two things, and we'll get into the second one in a minute. But I was assuming until this moment that they are saying that Romulans, once they're assimilated, de-assimilation, which is not a thing that you do. Like, you know what I mean? This is not a concept that is normal. That once you're assimilated, because of their psychic abilities, how their brain works, it breaks their brain too far. So once assimilated, you can never really regain, because it happens to be
possibly
their brain. Or is this the remaining crew of that last scout ship, which we know she is, and whatever effed up the cube, they were ground zero, and it actively hurt all their body, because all you have to do is a feedback pulse in the assimilation thing, go, okay, brain's messed up.
Well, that's the feeling I'm getting. Something like that occurred. There's an incident that occurred at the same time.
I don't have an opinion on
I didn't ask you for your opinion.
Well, doesn't help anyway.
No, so yeah, I think that because she later asked her specifically, do you know what caused the matrix collapse? When your ship got assimilated. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd. All the
When also that Hugh says, these are all the Romulans that have ever been assimilated that I know of. I was thinking, yeah, sure. In this
Yeah.
cube, like, I'm glad you clarified that I know of, because of course there's millions of Romulans, of course, because they go into everyone's space, some of them throughout time.
Well, they mentioned in Neutral Zone that outposts on both sides of the Neutral Zone had
Yeah.
been scooped up essentially. So
Yeah, so he bit close say, these are the only 6 Romulans ever, like, it's a rare thing. It's like, no, they just let anybody, like, if they're in a mission, it's fine.
Sarkandi Grissom puts in $2.
Dang it.
That's where she is from, the old Chips show. LOL. California Highway Patrol. And Ozzy Medeiros puts in $2. Commodore Blues Brother.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, and all the stupid drawings on the walls. The one guy drawing, the one guy playing with the cube, the other guy like whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
But not just that, but when in the scene later on, they all react to the single character scene. So I'm guessing they're all psychically linked. There's some sense of that.
at the end, later, after she says you're the destroyer, they all I think know who the destroyer is, which will be interesting to find out.
Yep.
Now there is a picture of a guy drawing something that looks like a structure of some kind. Could be like a computer code or whatever as well.
They're gonna
I
mean
think
something.
I think that's going to mean something. Yeah. The Trembler though throws in $10. Hugh is wrong when he said these were the only Romulans ever assimilated. Liberated Romulans were in Voyager's Unity and were sane. Don't think this ruins the episode. Hugh is just wrong in universe. Well, he said that I know of.
And I think he just means of this cube. Like they only have one cube, and that's all the information they have. So I think that it just sounded more fantasy. But I mean, he doesn't like he's here to focus on his Borg, not the collective. They're obviously not trying to cure anybody except the people they have responsibility for right now.
Yeah. Eugene, 250 rubles. Prophecies, stories from tomorrow. It smells time. What is coming?
Ooh.
Ooh. If done properly, might work, but when she said I know you from tomorrow, when she says that later, I just assume it's because she's kind of like a fortune teller kind of lady. But if you take it literally, and maybe something happens time related wise that caused this Borg cube to separate from the collective.
Oh.
That's interesting.
But we just
have to see.
We just had a season about time travel though. It'd be weird to have Borg and time travel in the same, like, that feels kind of forced. Like, we'll pull out all the tropes just to make sure that we make some money, which is very much like what the filmmakers would do. But narratively speaking, I can see Patrick saying he doesn't want to redo TNG, and yet Borg time travel is just First Contact again. I mean, those are the two main narrative plots of that as well. Now, what do you think of this lady? How she was acted, her vibe, etc.
I thought she makes a good Romulan, that's for sure. I do like the way that the implants are also in the shape of her eyebrow.
Yeah.
To replace her eyebrow, but I thought it was well acted, honestly, for the role it is, kind of like a crazy fortune teller lady. I thought it was well done, so I have no complaints about it.
I hope she's not in more. Like, I hope that's her one and done.
I hope so too.
I don't like the whole fortune telling thing because Romulans aren't psychic, or like they can't see the future. That's not a thing people can do. And so if this is a crazy brain, that's fine. But the way it's sort of played is a little bit like, I say fortune teller, but that's not reality. I mean, this isn't reality, it's fiction, but you know, the ramblings of a crazy woman who seems a bit I wish it was more insane. You know, she became very sane all of a sudden. I think they played her too straight. I'm trying to think of what other crazy lady I could refer to in other films and TV, but where she's kind of mumbling different things and then she sort of sees her and, you know, she felt a bit too normal. And also the edit from putting the thing down, which means nothing. Like, look, here's a thing. Back to Raffi. It's like, okay. That's a really bad edit. And this is just a really, really bad edit. There's a few of those.
Jarzia throws in $5
Thank
Canadian.
you.
What if the Zotvash spread a virus among the population similar to the
Ooh.
Brunali virus Ichep had? They might have learned of it after Voyager got back. That's interesting.
Well, we did talk about how they are not synthetics, but they have synthetic pieces, and you can imagine they just, maybe even the virus they use to kill something allow them to help kill Borg. I mean, would they care? Yeah? Or maybe to get the cube. They found the cube, they infected it. I mean, that would be, yeah, that, I mean, if one random planet did it, like just random Delta Quadrant, no one cares planet, why can't, no, I love that. That's pretty interesting, actually.
Zarkon D. Grissom puts in $5. Fortune teller, maybe they confused elves with Romulans. LOL, just kidding.
That's true. Da 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 da. I'm a Romulan on a Borg cube.
Anyway, this next scene I actually really like. This is a good scene for me. Because she gets a call from Jean-Luc Picard, and he doesn't say don't hang up, which is nice. Anyway. He says, how have you been doing your research? She's like, no. He goes, well, I'm sending you all the information I have on Bruce Maddox. She says, I don't want it. And he goes, carry on, and ends the call. I loved it. I thought he knows her so well that she just can't resist any kind of mystery or, being able to prove herself, I guess.
Well, I mean, she told him years ago there were Romulan things happening, and now he's presenting evidence. So obviously, although now having freeze framed, I hate that she's got a hologram stick with a very poorly designed LCARS. Like, she had pads 14 years ago. Just have a pad that is clicking and then it cools. Like, cheaper, simpler, easier. Why have they got a massive erection for holograms? They're like, any place you put a hologram, put a hologram. Like, a big throbbing cock for hologram. It's like, calm down.
It's the future of today, Samuel. That's why.
Okay, but it's just so impractical. Like, can you imagine if there's what do you call it?
Oh, we're over 400 people watching. That's awesome, guys. Hit like. We can
Woo!
250 likes easily. Come on, hit likes.
But those candles, right? If she puts this up in front of the candle, the light would be too bright to see the data. Like, already you found a flaw. If there was it doesn't feel. It's not the Trek evolution that we wanted or needed. Like, as far as I can go, is a pad as a hologram emitter that can go up and kind of like almost like a 3DS. It's got half hologram, half practical. This is a wand.
Yeah. And Double Guitars says, what was with the hologram dice? Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. That's when she finds out he's on Free Cloud, and it's basically like an ad because it's like a casino planet or something.
Oh, and Zarax says, I mean, they got to spend the budget somehow, and why bother building new ships when they can do holograms? It's true.
They didn't want to give Trekyards anything to work with.
No.
That's what Trekyards, they like ships, right? Let's fuck them over.
But it's so right. If they just built a prop, it would have been hundreds of dollars rather than thousands of dollars. Like, so much easier.
Fleet Pod Swiftback puts in $1.99, 250 likes, and 405 watching. # Picard like spike. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying the discussion. If so, make sure you hit that like button. Ding, 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 ding.
Well,
and
now
put in your thoughts on this episode as well. If you want to super chat, that'd be fantastic.
Well, now, guys, with 400 people watching, let's have the hero ship like spike. We're now finally at the hero ship non-reveal. Guys, what do you think of the new ship?
Hey, it's every video game I've ever played ship.
And not designed by John Eves. Michael Chabon released a picture today on his Instagram about it was kind of like a diorama picture thing.
Well, it's for the AMT model kit. It's based on the old AMT model box designs.
Cool. And it was designed by someone else. I'm trying to find the thing. Now, the box might have been designed by them, but the implied information was that this chap designed the ship. So I think John Eves was designing all the Federation stuff, and then which makes it more in line. Just like they did with Discovery, someone else designed the Klingon stuff, therefore it has a completely different style. Ship design by Todd Sharonowski. So not John Eves design, which makes a lot of sense because it doesn't look like anything Star Trek. So if this guy designed for Mass Effect, I would not be surprised. And let me Google him now while you guys say what you think.
I've heard a lot of people say it was very reminiscent of the Vulcan warp sled or the Vulcan.
That's what my
shuttle
dad
from the
said.
Picture.
That's what my dad said.
That's what Sylvia said too,
Mm.
and I've seen other people online say it. I never got that sense, just
Mm.
because it's got the things protruding out front and it's red. I mean, that's kind of an indication it might be Vulcan related, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we get clarification on who made this ship, if it's just a civilian ship, if it's
Well, the
Vulcan,
fact is,
whatever.
we're gonna get an Eagle Moss, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that. But he was a production designer on Discovery for 5 episodes, a senior art director for Last Jedi, supervising art director on Avatar, and obviously worked on this too. So he worked on Discovery as well.
We've got some PayPals as well.
Super PayPal.
I think we just got one. Lee sends $250 US.
Thank
It
you.
says, from Minkin 2, if Raffi moved her trailer further away from the rock, she would have a better reception to a free cloud public Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sure.
I love it. And Zarkon D. Grissom throws in $5. Reminds me of something from Mass Effect or Homeworld 2.
Yes. 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 Yes.
It's not a bad ship. It's just not fantastic, and it's not Star Trek. That's
No.
all.
And production designer of this Todd chap worked on episodes of season 1 Discovery 1 to 5. So he helped design some of the things for the start of Discovery. Was not brought back on for season 2, and was brought back because obviously they recommended him. But yeah, I mean it's a okay design, but there's nothing to recommend it. I kind of would love to take a 3D modeler and take the base shape and redesign it a little more Trek. And all I would do, literally, is make the outer 2 pods warp grill housings.
Yeah.
Give the back
That would work.
pieces impulse red, so now you have the 2 color differentials. Add phaser strips along each of the lines, and maybe add like a registry panel-y thing on the top or something. Maybe with like 2 escape pods, and it would feel better. I
It'd be easy
think.
to make it. Yeah, it would be easy to make it look Federation.
Oh, and
for
RCS
sure,
thrusters as
for
well.
Starfleet. Yeah.
Because some people said that, okay, phaser strips are Starfleet. Yes and no. The technology was invented by Starfleet or the Federation, but it's been out for 50 years, so therefore civilians have now access to it, so they would it's the most efficient type of tech. People would design it. And people
There's probably regulations about having weapons on civilian ships, though. But it's an unregistered ship, so it doesn't matter.
But also, if you're a freighter dealing with unknowns, then what if there are Orions attacking? I mean, I would assume that they can't really regulate that. I mean, yes, maybe no quantums. You know, quantums are outlawed by civilians. But yeah, you know.
Clinton Moore puts in $20.
Oh wow, thank you.
We Treks want our Star Trek bridge crew more ships. Now, Clint, do you watch my Star Trek bridge crew gameplays? Are you one of the regulars? I don't recognize the name, so I'm just wondering. You may have a different name on YouTube or on PlayStation Network. So let me know.
Thank you. That's $20 is seriously $20 is so amazing. As a super chat, it means so much to us. I mean, every 5 does help, but a 20 is like so generous. So thank you so much, Mr. Clinton Moore. You are the best.
Yes. Eugene, another 300 rubles though. Jesus, and inside is full-blown ME. Midnight's Edge.
Mass Effect.
Oh, just say that then.
We're out of characters.
Even with haptic interfaces, the ship is obviously old. It doesn't have modern 3D printing replicators, but ancient full ship holodeck. It does have the 3D tech printer though, because when you ask for the bottle, you see a beam from off the right-hand side kind of to make the bottle.
I think he's making a joke that it doesn't have advanced modern 3D printer replicators. Instead has old, fully able to be replicated anywhere things. I think he's making a comment as to last week's 14 years ago technology, which is worse than anything ever, and this is more advanced. Whatever.
Will Singleton puts in $5.
Thank you.
Sorry, driving reason for hologram controls is because Bashir mentioned it in the future DS9 on the Defiant Bridge.
Yes and no. We know that future didn't happen because those comm badges and those uniforms didn't happen. A is a parallel future, and we don't know what that means exactly, and we don't know when that was. I mean, let me look when that was. But they still look terrible, relatively speaking.
And no one special or number one special puts in $20. Thank you so much. Just to help while I can from my tax return.
Oh,
So,
well, thank you. Well, that's brilliant. Thank you. And also, that was also in the future of this now, so we're not even there yet. My God, that's loud. Jesus. That is, I don't know. So yeah, that event might have taken place in 24-22. So a good 20 years after this. But yes, bad ship design. But I'm looking forward to seeing the Eagle Moss and the designs and I kind of get the feeling, and I'm really crossing my fingers like so much, that we're going to get a scene where there'll be panels which slide open and phaser strips come out, and that will kind of like say that it's like Han Solo, the hidden compartments, like they're hidden weapons that you don't know. I'm really hoping that's a thing. It won't be. They're not that smart, but I'm hoping. Now that said, I'm still again holding out hope that we're going to see a Federation ship, Starfleet ship going after them that John's designed or whatever. Because we know John's designed stuff for this show, but currently everything's either been a reuse or a kit bash, in a sense, like design kit bash. So I'm hoping that a Starfleet ship goes after them, sent by the Commodore, like the Lakota was in those episodes, and the Renegade ship in Renegades. And that'll be like, this is so different because that is so similar that the contrast will be like, yeah, the rebels are fighting the Federation, whereas if it looked like a Federation ship, it wouldn't feel as different. So I think that'll be part of the contrast.
Jersey at $2, but Endgame and All Good Things still had touchscreen controls.
Yes. Yep.
Arctic Blue 87 puts in 50 Swiss, I think Swiss, I'm not sure, but thank you. When the ship went into warp, it did not stretch out like other Star Trek shows. To me, it feels a bit off. What did you guys think of it? I actually really liked it, to be honest. I'm just glad it's a real warp effect.
I mean, it was Discovery again, roughly. I mean, I've done hundreds of warp jumps for fan films, and yeah, they're slower. They're different colors. I hated they're all blue. That was my biggest thing, especially in the trailers. They were different colors. It's a lack of understanding. It's just Discovery again. It's just a Discovery. Honestly, you know. But anyway, but I will give him credit. The beam effect is pretty good, and in fact, if you look,
fantastic.
And if you look, there's a shot later on where at the end, the lines go in front and behind the actor. It's a fully 3D effect, and I really like how that feels. So, it's a good transporter effect. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just a sleeker version of TNG.
Yep.
It's great.
A nice progression, too, so kudos. So Bean's aboard, and he runs into the EMH, and it's like, oh, you already may be too late. Goes up, and we see that the Captain Rios has had an incident. Love how Picard asks what happens. And he says, I didn't die. It's like, oh, well, that's good. And later, when there's a problem with the navigation thing, he's like, oh, it was easy to scrape off. It's fine. So there's a story here somewhere. Something happened.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
But
maybe.
damn, that was painful.
Although I love the payoff of the EMH. Although you'd normally say can activate EMH and appear next to you. Since he wasn't trying to reach for a med kit, the only reason he's out of scene is that he can say hi to Picard.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And Bill Barkley is saying the ENH. That comes out up later. That's a different one.
They have
There's
two.
Yeah. This is the EMH who has an English accent. The ENH has an Irish accent. And the captain actually has a Spanish accent.
The real question is, what is the ESH going to have accent-wise?
Emergency what hologram?
Emergency sex hologram.
Oh.
Nope, not going to give me anything for that.
Well, Medallion art, I said it. Female Rios image.
See, there you go.
Steven Alvarez puts in $2 Australian.
Thank you.
Too hard to see. Please state shiny chrome like first episode.
Yeah.
Please plate shiny chrome like first episode.
But no, I like this scene, fair enough. I don't like the fact that he just replicates a med kit and replicates booze on the desk. it means you can replicate anything anywhere. Feels easy. Especially since the replicators last week seemed so basic. It's so strange. And not safe. It's gold replicator, isn't it?
Well, I don't have an issue with it, honestly.
It makes Ravi seem even dumber, though, being all complainy, if she can just replicate booze into her hand or onto the table in her house. You know, if it's that easy.
Mortimus Maximus says, at Captain Foley, can you explain how an EMH is able to interact with physical objects? Yes, through the use of combination of force fields and photons. The photons, they're generally, basically a hologram is a photonic shape that has a force field around it that can act like a tactile person. So that's a simple answer.
Bill is trying to goad me, and I'm going to give in. He says the EKH.
Oh, do it. Say
Emergency kill! Hologram. So I went a different technique there because English, it was a version. No, the question about holograms, when couldn't they touch matter?
Exactly.
Like, the Doctor, from day one, that was the entire point. If he couldn't interact with things, what's the point? He's medical. I don't understand your point. The ship has holoprojectors. It's every single time, sir. Every single time. But anyway, but yeah, the scene's just fine. The doubling effect is easy. I love the fact they don't actually dwell on the fact there's two of them. It's such a non-thing, and it's a really cool thing.
I wasn't even sure it was the same actor at first. I had to go back and watch it, and it's like, maybe.
If it was a different show, they would have made them look more different. But obviously, the beard's like his calling card with the white, so they can't change him that much. So he's just wearing, and even the Irish to the English, it's the same clothes, just very slightly different. It's the mannerisms of the acting rather than the look. Is just him acting again. It would have been nice if it was a bit more like if one was shaved or whatever, but that'd be way too much to that. That's just not worth the time to undo and redo. You know.
Yeah. But I love his sarcasm, though. He's like, the Doctor's scanning him. He's like, I think, just take this big piece of metal out of my shoulder, just to guess. So I love this character. I think he's going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, like I say, he's a strong medium for me. Like, he's okay. I don't want a Han Solo.
No, he's not like Han Solo.
No, but that's the thing. He was looking at to be that way in all the promos and being a bit of a dick. Yeah. But actually, he actually really likes the idea of Picard. He read his book. You can tell he was like one of his favorite captains. But he's been this way for so long, so I think we're going to evolve him into more what we conventionally know as a Starfleet officer, but with more rugged edges. So I think that's. And I love the mystery of his ship. What a great throwaway line, and adding even more story. That could be something truly amazing.
Yeah, because it's found out that he was an XO on a starship of a heavy cruiser, which is an odd term for them to use, even though
we use it in our show.
Yeah, we use it all the time, but it's hardly ever said in Star Trek. She's like, you're the XO of a Galaxy class. They would name the class or something. Yeah. But the ship is the Ib Majid. IBN, and then MAJID. I don't know how to pronounce it to save my life. But there's no record of it because it doesn't exist. Starfleet erased it from the records. So it's like, there's a story there. And later with the captain, the captain's blood and brains all over the bulkhead. I want to find out this story. What happened? I'm not sure we'll get a reveal. And didn't you the way he said it was erased, he said it so matter of fact, like it always happens. But that's a big deal. You don't I don't know, I guess they erased Discovery. To be fair, they erased all records of that, so there's now a precedent for it. But that's a big deal. I mean, that could be a lot, and for him to be XO, for him to be the Riker of that ship. Like, the E is technically a battleship, technically, but you could probably class it as a heavy cruiser as well. So I can imagine that was quite a good posting. I think that's probably also partly why he has the beard, so that if they do a flashback, he can have a shaved face, full uniform, looking smart. That would be a great payoff. Maybe a season 2 thing. But I see that being really important. And that was 4 years after the Romulan destruction and stuff, so that was when the universe started reshifting based on Romulan people getting killed and whatnot. Mhm.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99 and says, "I bin Majid, Captain." Sure.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool.
I have to hear it a few more times before I can really say it. It took me forever to get Zot Vash.
Yeah, certainly. Absolutely. I like the fact that the guy says he healed it, but he says, right, now I can fix the skin. And he's like, nope, leave it. Because he wants the scar.
Yeah.
Because these
I
things
love
be
how he
healed.
offers Picard a drink, though. And Picard's like, no, thank you. Dumps it on his shoulder. I love it.
Yeah. And then says sit down, and Picard actually doesn't choose the captain's chair, which is a nice small touch.
There's a nice musical cue there when he stopped and looked at it. Like, there was a little bit of the Star Trek.
Yeah. Although looking out the window, there isn't this big nebula visible from Earth.
I know. I thought the same thing. I was wondering if anybody else was going to notice that.
Yeah. I think the VFX people weren't told it was Earth, because that's like a galaxy view. Or maybe he has like a... I mean, let's hope this is
a screensaver.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's hope this is a view screen, not a window. Even though the L cards are literally just Discovery painted orange.
Well, I don't have an issue with this one being a window because of the size of the ship, as we've talked about.
Yeah, it's still pushing it because a view screen is more useful than a view screen. The window is just functionally more useful. But at least there are panels, although there are these big holographic emitters which are bright, and you can see how they massively they brighten out the consoles. It's weird.
Sean Pullen puts in $5 Canadian, so thank you. We'll like ship more if we get exterior shots of the crew and bridge from space and at distance. Those are some big front and side windows. Yeah, not it's that big, but
yeah, I mean, we saw the exit ship we saw the shot at the end. I mean, that hall, that big hallway is the entire livable space, and then you include a bottom deck. I mean, it's small. It's just a small cargo ship freighter. But yeah, I mean, this shot of the bridge is so generic. I mean, there's no art design here at all. It's the most non. You know what I mean? If you remove the console, which is vaguely Trek, I mean, it's the most generic art design possible. And that's sad, but I do think we're going to see a Federation ship, which will be like super familiar, super clear, and this contrast will be clear. So again, I think they're really saving money. These few episodes feel underspent because we're going to see big stuff second half. They had to save money at the first half to get big scope, you know.
Maybe. Eugene, 100 rubles, probably a reference to Ahmed, blah, 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 Arabian navigator and cartographer. Absolutely would be from Starfleet, yes. And Fred Wicks, $2 Canadian, does Picard's new ship have a spore drive? LOL. Probably not.
I do doubt it.
Yeah, but I do like the helm and navigation console with the astrogator, very TOS styled. I like that. I think that's cool. But the only thing that feels Star Trek here. Jarzia throws in $2. You're jinxing it, Samuel.
That's what I would do. That's what Renegades did. It's a good way of doing it. They have a book. Don't know anything about the book, so I can't say anything about the book. Except
Probably
tragic.
very meaningful, yeah.
But it's probably just as on the nose as the Asimov thing was. Because he feels tragic. He feels a tragic sense of life. That's why he's reading it. Yeah.
But no, then Picard's like, first Rios asks, you going to break any laws? I don't know. I'm not used to consulting lawyers before I do what must be done. And what about you? I don't consult with anybody before doing anything.
It's good.
I love that.
It's good.
And then the whole, from what I've seen of this ship, everything's stowed properly. Everything's in good working order. Everything's where it's supposed to be. You're Starfleet through and through. I can smell it on you. I just love that.
Yep.
I never expected him to be ex-Starfleet. And
oh, really?
So
they said it in interviews and stuff.
I didn't listen to one of them in the interviews. So.
Fair enough.
So it was a nice reel for me. But I liked it. I thought it was well done. I'm really going to like his character. I can just feel it.
Well, it's another non-Han Solo thing because his ship looks like shit. You know what I mean? But this guy keeps his. I mean, he was a high-ish. I mean, he's halfway through the chain of command to being admiral. You know what I mean? Once you become second in command, a full commander, there's captain, I guess now commodore again, admiral, and then higher admirals. I mean, you are basically right there at captaincy. So yeah, I love the fact that he keeps it all neat and clean, and yeah, I see the evolution there being the best thing about him. We're going to see something there.
And Eugene throws in 200 rubles.
Hey.
The book is first Google results for Spanish philosopher. By the way,
Nice.
how is it underspent? Holograms are everywhere.
Yeah, but you can hire a company specifically just to do those, and they offer you like a deal. I mean, holograms aren't that expensive, especially if you say like, right, you're just doing holograms. I mean, one set is more expensive than a hologram, especially if they're low resolution and they're designed with VFX tracking markers in the shot. I mean, they're not that expensive; they just mount up. But you've got million. I think it's the most expensive TV show Trek show ever. I doubt they're going to say, right, we're going to spend 3 million an episode on holograms. So, no. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get Rafi. She's doing her research, and you see all the bottles of alcohol on the table, and
Sorry and brandy, Stuart.
Yes, and the hologram displays, and we get an interesting crypto algorithm identification, Gorn egg.
Oh, didn't catch that one. Huh.
Some kind of weird little reference.
Mm.
But I thought I'd catch that because I noticed it.
And then quantum fingerprinting.
Quantum fingerprinting and origin free cloud.
And then I guess she activates the thing, and then it all free clouds all over her. Which I took.
Yeah, it's an advert for free cloud. So
I took it as like, I'm a hacker, and here's my calling card. But as we know, it's a place later on. Yeah. But she's very proactive, and obviously, I think she got a lot of history. I think maybe she tried to get information from Free Cloud. Maybe she got part of why she got demoted, then forcibly let it go, is because if she couldn't get a fleet, she got like hackers and she tried to steal information. She tried to like find the mole, and because of that, she lost her commission.
Maybe.
Which is why she's like, oh goddamn Free Cloud, I hate those guys. They lost me my combination of Picard and them.
Oh,
would make more sense.
Yeah. Anyway, back aboard the ship, and we get the this is the ENH now, the emergency navigation hologram. Says that the navigation's back online. Whatever it was, scraped off easily.
It's just stupid, stupid.
And then he goes into the whole, hey, how you doing? Are you excited? A little bit intimidated? You're working for a good man. He's on the side of the angels. And he goes into the whole thing about, the lead contact for the Q continuum and stop the Borg invasion of Earth and the Klingon arbiter succession. Yeah. Captains of both Enterprise D and E.
But not F, officially.
Right. So it's a lot of cannon fired at us right there. Oh, and mentioned Spock, of course, worked on the.
That was good.
Alongside the great Spock. So.
But you haven't mentioned that he went missing a few months ago or 14 years ago. Why has no one mentioned that? Weird.
Yeah.
And again, terrible art design for the quarters. This is just straight off The Expanse or more expensive Babylon 5. I mean, or it's just a Discovery redress. And in fact, if you look at the lighting of how it's coming through the windows, Discovery did that in season 2 a lot to try and create depth by having the window be blacked out, and it just looks weird.
Mailbag Banner, who's Justin, one of our admins. We also done originals for him, Remember during my Manhattan class video where I mentioned the ship could have a full holographic crew to operate it? Funny how things work out.
Yeah, no, I kind of like it. It's kind of endearing to me that he did the whole crew thing. Now he can do a ship. He's a pilot. He's just a pilot. He's just an A to B freighter guy, basically. But he doesn't know how to do everything, so he has just he just bought all these emergency holograms, and then he gave them all his personality because that's easy to deal with, better than random people. And then they all do a job, and I'm sure we're going to see emergency, many more. And I think it'll be fun. Although it's weird that the navigation one is being the doctor, is being the psychiatrist. I thought that was a bit weird. Like it should be the other way around, really. But that's okay.
I like how he's like, "There's no more navigation emergency. Why are you here?"
Yeah.
Brian Kesterson, one of our mods, says only 10 more likes to 300. Can we do it? Well, the 386 of you guys here, so we can do it. 86 of you haven't hit. at least 86 more, because people go in and out all the time. So if you haven't hit like yet, make sure you hit that like button. Let's just get to the 300 mark.
And just to note, this guy does have a replicator on his desk. Not sure why, if he has a replicator everywhere else. But
well, that's the upper deck where that replicator was, and it's probably only for the forward station where you might need stuff.
Sure.
All you need is emitters in the above the console, and it's just, and down on the lower deck, it's just on his desk. It's fine.
I always
would have an issue.
Well, because replicators have always been in a set confined area. Like, there is a special thing. It's not the same as presenting a hologram. It's creating it tangible. So you need it in a thing that's safe. If you can just create it in midair, then you could just replicate a dinghy to appear in the middle of your hull, and boom, there it is. It just feels it's too advanced. It's always a safety thing. It's always been an enclosed bit.
But this is the future, so I don't have an issue with the way they're doing it, honestly.
Sure, but
it's like holographic. It's like holographic projectors. They're just replicator projectors. I don't have an issue. That's just my take on it. The whole thing, that they wouldn't be outside, I don't think so. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99, 300 likes. Great live guys. Again at 350. I don't know if we'll get to 350.
Oh, I mean, now I think we will. If you guys make it so. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm. Engage. The Trembler puts in $20. Thank you very much. Are all of those things about Picard public knowledge, or does Rios know some due to being in Starfleet? Because if Q is public knowledge, where would there be Q cults? I think there would be Q cults. So this is just a message 1 of 2. Here comes the next one. That would be unwise and dangerous, but they would exist scattered across the alpha and beta quadrants. I mean, I would assume Q's kind of public knowledge. I don't know. That's a good question, actually.
My gut reaction is that it's not a secret, because there's so many advanced alien life forms. We've seen in TOS, we've seen in other shows. There is alien life, and no one believes in gods anymore in the same way that they understand it's just alien life. And yes, I'm sure some people on some planets will be culty about it, but I mean, culty about a replicator, about whatever. It's not a big deal. And he was second in command of a Starfleet heavy cruiser. I'm sure Starfleet knew, but I mean, I don't know. Would you go to a dinner party with civilian friends and say, "Oh, by the way, there's alien life forms that can control matter with the snap of the fingers"? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. David Bessig throws in $20. So thank you, David.
Kicking butt.
Sorry I'm late. Go Team Trekyards. I liked this episode. Borg cuts were a little rough, and I laughed out loud with the sunglasses scene. Could not take that seriously. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yeah. That mirrors our reactions as well, I think.
Yeah. Except I was less keen on the episode for other reasons. And now we're getting to the weakest part of the episode, except the Borg stuff. The entire second half chateau. Because up until this point, there was good things. This entire section, I honestly, if I was reading this episode, I'd remove everything in the chateau from this point onwards.
Yeah, I agree. I actually do agree with you. I enjoyed this episode. So.
I mean, this scene as well, he's just talking about the grapes. I mean, it's nice enough, but it should have been episode 1 or 2. It didn't need to be a 3-minute scene. It just slows it down. It doesn't tell us anything new. Especially she's like, "You wouldn't miss anything." "Well, I'll miss you all." It's like, okay.
Well, I want to talk about something. It's just like Ryan, Ryan, $2 Canadian. Q cults, the Scientology of the future. Yes.
Although to be fair, I can't imagine he would love that. He'd just go, "Hey guys, you think I'm a god? Well, let me be a god." Like, he'd probably have fun with that, to be fair.
Yeah. No, this scene where they're outside, and then the other guy comes in with the food. "Here for your trip. There's bread and whatever." Blah 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 blah.
We'll get there. There's still a Borg intercut. Let's get there when we get there.
Oh, is there?
We're back to the Borg. Another awkward cut. Because this is when she does the whole back door thing.
The hidden door.
Do you really think that every single every single Romulan house has a fake front door?
No, she said traditional Romulan houses. That doesn't mean all.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, that implies that everyone back in the day
I don't live
had
in a
them.
traditional house because mine's a duplex thingy. A traditional house would be like a larger one out in the country, an older estate.
Okay, but that means everyone at a certain time of a warp-capable race had a fake front door. But if everyone knows you have a fake front door, then what are you hiding from? Invaders? As soon as you... Like, it seems like a racial stereotype. Well, you're all untrustworthy, so you all have fake back front doors. Like, it was such a weird throwaway line. Like, maybe if they said, like, the ruling elite, or every governess, or every scholar, but it seemed like such a weird, like, semi-racist line, for some reason to me. Like, it's saying they're always untrustworthy, they gotta have a fake front door. But if everyone's a fake front door, then no one has a fake front door.
I don't think it had anything to do with you being untrustworthy. It was probably a religious practice or something. Like, the Bible said you should do this or whatever. Who knows?
Okay.
Not everything's because all Romulans are sneaky. Like,
Don't think the writers were saying that, though.
I never assumed that.
Okay. Okay. What happens here, though? Oh yeah, she gets through to her. So I do like the reason for saying you can only talk to me if you understand, because then she talks in Romulan, which she didn't know up until this point. But she's suddenly, it's like she knew it. Like, again, her knowledge is letting her be suddenly more. I love that.
Well, I was gonna say I love the point where she talks about the front door, and Hugh's like, "Oh, you're kind of a know-it-all."
Good line. Yep. That was smart. That's what they call putting a hanging lantern on it, where if someone points out in the dialogue something important, he's surprised she always knows so much, because she shouldn't. Oh, then we have the bread. That short intercut scene that really should have been somewhere else, that shouldn't have been even in it. Didn't need that. Yeah, you didn't even need that, did you? That middle bit. Just have her talk to her. You didn't need the sitting down behind you. I'll take that out too.
I don't understand that at all. Eugene puts in 150 rubles.
Thank you.
That's fine, though. These pesky humans have windows even on starships. Don't know what he's referring to specifically, but... And Ryan again, $2. I bet the Church of Qology have a fake front door.
Yeah.
And David Bessick again, $20.
Oh.
My theory, Romulans hate AI because back when they were Vulcans, something related to AI came up with the whole logical way of life, and caused a great chasm that ensued when many of the race, led by Surak, followed. I love that because it's exactly what a machine would do, logical way of life. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It is interesting. I mean, it depends if they were actually canon enough to know that they were the same species at one time, or if they just assumed, because it's interesting when last week when they said about the robot, they said about the Vash hating androids and they have no android people, like Trek movie, which is one of the bigger Trek sites. They said, "Oh God, why is something playing?" They said how. Well, yeah, but it's not as if they ever get canon wrong. Like, Star Trek always gets canon wrong throughout the years, and they posted, 10 examples of other canon things. As if saying, oh, it's fine, they can just fuck canon, doesn't matter. And it's like, but they're the official Trek show, you should hold them to a higher standard. That seems weird to me.
I kind of agree. Hope everything's okay over there. Gene Iwaski Jr. puts in $5. Who's the actress who played Rhonda? Well, it's not Rhonda, it's Ramda. She resembles Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock Saavik. Well, it's not Robin Curtis, I can tell you that.
I mean, we just met Robin Curtis, and kind of older Robin Curtis. I can kind of see that.
Oh, I can see that too, but you know who it looks like to me is the lady from The Mandalorian that repaired his ship on Tatooine a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not her either. She looks like a lot of people. But it's not Robin Curtis, it's not Saavik.
But Stuart, the bread.
Oh yes, the bread.
And the stuff that can never be replicated. Although,
that's right.
If you look at the back, I just brightened it up, and at the back of Picard's office thing, you can see a picture of old Picard of the Academy behind a thing.
Oh, nice.
But yes, the bread, Stuart. You love French bread, don't you?
I do, actually. Anyway, he goes to pick something else out of the bag and it falls and he ducks, and instead of shooting Picard or her or him in the chest, I guess they were aiming for his head because they hit, or they were aiming for the alarm, because literally not a. I amaze myself. That's wonderful. Because literally, AI, I tell you, can't trust this shit. He doesn't skip a beat. There's not even 1 second. He's like, they hit the alarm. So he went from here's some food to, oh my God, tell Shiara here, like instantly. I thought it was very, I mean, you could probably understand, you probably figured out from the sound of the disruptor fire. I don't know. But it was just such a weirdly, it was bad. It was not done well.
So this entire battle is terrible. It's incredibly badly shot, very badly edited. It makes no logical sense. This entire sequence and Picard interrogating the guy is absolutely a reshoot. This was absolutely padding. They wrote it as a 2-parter. They invented this stuff to pad, because what's more exciting than having an action sequence where the best officers of the Tal Shiar secret organization can be defeated by 3 unarmed people and then they get disruptors. Are you joking? You know, I said this in reference to John Wick. In those films, when John Wick's gonna win, but the fights genuinely feel like they have tension and strength and the other guys have a chance. This feels like pathetic bad guys nothing. And it saddens me. It's a terrible scene. It was absolutely added in post. It was absolutely refilmed. You know, 100%. I can't imagine this is... It's even got no music. You know, there's nothing. It's absolutely terrible, this entire sequence.
It's cluttered and confusing, and you can't tell what the hell is going on. It's blur after blur. And
to have the first act be, he does a bottle of wine on a guy's armor, as if that'll stun him.
Well, okay. A lot of people brought that up. It's not to stun him necessarily. The guy's moving through the door. He's moving forward. He's got forward momentum. You hit somebody with something in the back of the head, they're going to go down. Whether it's hitting their skull or not, it's the momentum. It's just to knock them off base for a second.
Okay.
So I don't really have an issue with that.
But it's a terrible fight. This entire sequence should be edited out. It adds nothing. It just makes him look stupider. Because you can't even argue about not beaming. Like, if they want to kill Picard, and they obviously do because they say in a moment that Romulan guns don't have a stun, so if they start by shooting, so they're trying to kill them. If they're trying to kill them, just bomb the house and make it like say it was a gas explosion, because guess what? You already did that once with a roof. So my interpretation, the only thing I can say is they don't want to kill Picard because they do it so poorly. What this really is just we need an action scene. We've got an elderly actor and 2 people that will give action to that have never fought in things before, that have basic choreography, and they're heroes. They can't die. I mean, this is a 1 out of 10 scene. It's terrible. Like, these guys are meant to be the top militia, top special secret soldiers, and they're absolutely nothing. Yeah. Terrible.
And Jarzia puts in $5. S1 and War said every action scene is going to be people telling Picard to hide while they fight. The whole show will be a giant escort quest. Rolling on floor laughing.
Yep.
Well, he's elderly. I mean, even this one scene, you see him getting up with like a cane in his hand.
Which came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he uses the cane to disarm the guy. It's...
Yeah, it was... I guess he had that in the first episode. And then yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, and I have issues with this whole thing, because after they dispatch all these people, go check the rest of the estate. Because I personally would send in more than 1 team. I'd send in at least 3. 6 people each team. Yeah, the first one's where they are. If they get there defeated, you got somebody else coming in from another way. Secure the area. Don't just assume that they're just all defeated.
And yet, as soon as you kill them all, you're like, it's okay, John Luke, we're okay now. And then one guy just walks in with a gun raised, like, I'm going to kill you all. And they don't even react. It's just awful. These would be high-end Tal Shiar operatives. They are not. It's
something
bad.
We got to clear up. Got to clear up. Monomorphic says, where did Dr. Girardi get that gun? If you actually watch the fight scene, the one guy gets disarmed right by that door. So I would assume it slid through
Yeah, so
Anyway.
so this is the edit that he's talking to. So as soon as she gets her handgun, she shoots a guy because she has the rifle with one guy and like holds it, and then shoots a second guy with a gun. He then shoots out of the room. I have no idea what door it is, but a guy does fall out with a rifle. But it's very poorly edited. It is there, but I only saw it on second viewing. But yeah, as soon as she comes out, I instantly thought, whatever. Where'd she get that rifle? It's just a bad edit. Just a bad edit.
We've got 2 PayPals though.
That is super.
One is from Savo.
Okay.
$5. Doctor Who and Logan run a ship. Cigar, whiskey, sonic screwdriver, skin recovery. No thanks. I heal myself.
Oh God, yeah.
LOL.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we've got one from Matthew McNamara. But it says we placed a temporary pending status on this transaction, so we won't be able to read the message.
Okay.
So PayPal is doing its thing where it's holding the payment to make sure it's not suspicious. So, sorry, Matthew.
And Max Volume says, I don't know, I felt tension. I thought the 2 actors were going to die. That was possible, but the editing was so bad that I was kind of like trying to think about the scene. And I'm glad they didn't die. I think probably one of them should have died.
Yeah, I thought one of them was going to die for sure.
And as my dad pointed out, because we try and watch this together sometimes, that the fact that the chateau is now compromised. It was compromised anyway because they could obviously get to you, but now they should all leave because the people came to kill you. And while yes, Picard leaves, they would still probably ransack the house, see if they can find information on the agent, and they would bump into the people and murder them. So there should be no more scenes in the chateau. It's been compromised. And yet we see Seven of Nine and we see all these other scenes. It just tells me that they don't actually want to kill Picard. Otherwise they would have killed Picard. Especially if they have complete Federation allowing it to do it. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's poor. Yeah. It's really poor.
Yeah. And Prime1351 puts in $5.
Welcome back.
Have you talked about the only Romulans ever assimilated thing yet? Sorry if so. Yes, we have. We assume it's just on that cube.
Yeah. Exactly. Because it's not all of them. That's daft. We know there aren't other ones. So it's just that of his area. All he can worry about is his own cube people. Yeah. But I do like the line about, I might have stunned him. No, little lady. We only kill. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, there's no stun setting. Yeah.
I mean, how do you capture people then? Oh, sorry. You put the bag over their head. That's the official Tal Shiar capture method. I mean, that's a really... For guys that are tactical and strategic, stun is useful. How are you stealthy if you just murder everyone? It's like, wow, I think the Tal Shiar were here because all of our guards have been killed. Oh, but they're so stealthy. Yeah, but everyone's dead. I mean, it's a dumb idea. Even the Klingons have stun, weirdly enough.
All right, I missed a super chat or two. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Fleetpass Whitback puts in $1.99. What if the chateau has transport inhibitors?
I thought that, but they should have said that. Especially as, if you've got transport inhibitors, they should be able to detect beaming just outside of them. Otherwise, what's the point? If you can detect them outside of them, they should have alerted them beep beep. And if they... It just...
And Fleetpaw, I did read Jarzia's super chat.
Do you want to read it again? Because she's a regular contributor?
S1 Noir. I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, it said every action scene is going to be people telling Picard to hide while they fight. The whole show will be a giant escort quest. Rolling on the floor laughing.
There you go. Double read.
The Trembler...
Thank you again.
Says we get the 2 types of Romulans explained here. Not here, not yet. Soon.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll get to that because Stuart likes that a lot.
Yeah. The Trembler, $10. So Picard explains 2 minor differences with Romulans: discovery, redesign, Klingons, and doesn't include augment and virus Klingons. Though they fit the era and season 1's theme of Klingons' purity. And Discovery has a human-looking Klingon.
Yep.
Don't know what else to say, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so
although it's just want to point out that they weren't beamed out when they got hit, so it must be inhibitors because they weren't being beamed.
Yeah,
because they were in the first one. This is definitely a reshoot, guys. They right, we need to pad the runtime. We'll make it 3 episodes. Let's invent this middle that means nothing. Because I bet you all the destroyer thing was just her saying it on the cube. You didn't need it twice. It added nothing to the scene.
Yeah.
100%. Or really bad scripting.
Yeah, anyway, Agnes here says that Commodore O came to see her, and I told her the truth because I'm really bad at lying. There's one thing I didn't tell her, which later we find out is that she's going with you. Yeah. But I think, again, she's being coerced by the Commodore. She got threatened or mind melded or something, and so that's the thing. But before she can say that line of "I'm going with you," that's one thing I didn't tell her. All of a sudden, Laris is spraying this guy in the face like he's a cat. I don't know if that's an actual recovery mist or if it's just water. Who knows?
It's just water.
But anyway, he's conscious now, so we can come and ask him questions. And now we get the quick intercuts between this scene and the Borg scene. So you want to talk about just this scene and then over the Borg scene?
Yep, just this one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, God, thing.
Because the editing here is atrocious.
Yeah, they both kind of are.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You lose any sort of power by cutting between them.
Yeah. Well, it's just the instant same reveal, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, they start asking this guy questions, and he's not going to answer. And she's like, that's because he's a stubborn northerner like you. And she slaps him on the forehead. So, yeah, explains the differences in the head ridges. Love that.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing. And it's a clever way of doing it. But this scene, and we've also just about the Picard one, bugs me to no end, tells me it's a reshoot, because look, Tau Shell Operative, already the secret police, probably 93% the secret organization, and Picard walks up to him saying, if you tell me, we'll let you go. It's like, you've been in Starfleet for 60 years, you've dealt with Romulans, you've dealt with Klingons, you've had these massive political games with Tomalak and stuff, and you think this guy's going to tell you. I know the scene has to. I know the scene's going to move on, but he plays it so sincerely. Like, look, my young friend, if you tell us your secret mission, I just want to understand. What's wrong with him? I don't understand. This is a stupid moment. It means nothing, and even the other two are letting him do this when they know very well there's nothing they can do, because they say there's no point. Because he's but it's a stupid scene. Now I can imagine if the Tau Shah lady pulls out a syringe, stabs him straight away, and says, truth serum, and he's like, I don't agree with this, but it's already done, Jean-Luc. Well, okay then, tell me. Like, that could have been fine, but it's played so stupidly, and the guy then tells him things for no reason, and then commits suicide. But they are there to kill Jean-Luc Picard. He has acid capsule that kills his entire body. In episode 1, while injured, you can spit that out and kill somebody. It killed the major character, Daj. So this man, now being captured and not committing suicide, could bite into it, spit in Picard's face, doesn't need to be very much acid to murder him, to kill him, and kill him, for achieving his mission he's failed at. And yet he doesn't commit suicide, gives information away, and then commits suicide. Nothing makes sense. It's a terrible scene. It doesn't work on any level. It doesn't even give any useful information, really. It's just awful.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. But the good thing about this scene
is the Northern Line.
Northern.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we get more of the two Romulan people.
Yes. So that's a quick summation of that scene. There you go.
Yeah, and then he dies, and it's done. And terrible. But the Borg.
Jarzy at $2. You'd figure Laris would have a mind probe stashed.
Exactly.
Absolutely, you would. Yeah. But now with the Borg storyline, and this is where the whole talking about Romulan mythology, and she's like, I hate that word. There's no word for mythology in the Romulan culture. What do you call it? The news. It's kind of funny.
I don't really understand
but she has that realization that
because these people are smarter than that. It seems like such a backward thing.
Like Prime 1351, $2. Suicide pill works like Nadion radiation.
And I just need to go to the toilet if you just want to talk about this scene some more. But I'll be Yeah, back in a second.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what there's not to understand about this personally, but so yeah, she says we call it the news, and Soji's like, "Oh, I love that," and she turns to Hugh and he's like, "That's what we need is a structured Borg," and she goes to say mythology, but then she says a structured framework or something in its place because the Ramda doesn't like the word mythology, so I thought that was neat. And she goes, and it's as clear and present as like the news. It gave her a spark of inspiration to start from the structural structural base that they are all Borg drones that are now have that shared history, and then from there you can expand from that. At least that's what I got from it. I know she went to her to talk to her about Romulan mythology specifically as a way of helping in counseling. A shared cultural framework can really bring back some memories or some unity to the group. So I guess it doesn't make like 1,000% sense, but I kind of followed it a little bit. At least I think I got that out of it. Surprised she didn't say what an unusual necklace. That's funny. Anyway, and then it kind of goes off the rails pretty quick when she comes out with the card, and she asks, "Which one are you?" But Samuel's back, so.
Yeah.
So I just got to the card with the two of them, and that's as far as I got.
And again, I love the her knowing things. I love you're the last person on the ship. I love that was really cool.
And you missed Jenna Gray had a funny comment. She said, surprised she didn't say, "What an unusual necklace."
That's good. I like that. No, I like that. But I like this was the only really like plot evolution stuff. It was that she was the last. It was in Romulan space. That was the only real plot evolution. And like Hugh's reactions too. It's interesting. I do quite like the two sisters thing. Which one are you? Mm-hmm. Are you the alive one or the dead one? It's like, what?
Oh, and the realization on Soji's face, she's like shit, Dodge might be in danger.
Yeah, it escalates real quickly. And then all the people in the room seem to like have a connection. They're all like getting more agitated, and then as she touches her, which I'm guessing she can feel like the lack of anything. She senses that you're a hollow shell of a person. Because they're slightly, Vulcans it's by touch, and Vulcan and Romans have similar abilities somewhat. Because then she suddenly like turns, and then what does she call her? She calls her something, and then says you're a destroyer. But what's the word? It's like, I guess someone's like you're synthetic. It was a word that I should have subtitled. I could probably find it now actually. But it was. She says you're you're a destroyer. I was like, oh, what does that mean? Where would I have put that? Do you have that? Do you make note of that, or do I have to find it?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
Yeah, but she says, I've met you tomorrow. No, Ramda, we haven't met.
That was weird.
What was I doing when you met me tomorrow? Again, I thought it more like a vision or whatever.
Well, I can imagine the Borg stuff has messed up her sense of time. So I think she's seeing a vision of synthetics, of you are who we should be as the Borg cube and that sort of thing.
Well, there's a weird bit here too about the ships. It goes on to say, one of the things that makes you so special, Ramda, is that you were aboard the very last ship that was ever assimilated by this cube.
I like that a lot.
And Hugh's like, is that true? How do you know that? Like, he doesn't even know.
No. She's one of thousands of millions. She's just one.
Yeah. You were aboard the Imperial scout ship Shinar. With 25 other passengers. You encountered this cube and were assimilated.
Yep.
And then something went wrong.
Yep.
What happened, Rhonda? Do you know what caused the submatrix collapse? And that's when she says, which one are you? Which sister are you? The one who dies or the one who lives? And then she says, you are the Seb Cheneb. So CEB-. Cheneb.
Yeah, I found it, and that apparently, according to the online, is just translated as Romulan for the Destroyer.
The Destroyer, yeah, and that's when she starts saying you're the Destroyer. That's when all the other Romulans get riled up.
Yep.
And she grabs the gun from the guy,
which I like as a better version of the rifle. It looks more like the Romulan Disruptor. We're going to do an episode on it, but there's so little pictures, so we'll wait. But I thought that was a goodish looking gun. Not too bad.
Yeah. And then she basically I think she kind of activates a little bit because she is really quick to get that gun away from her head when Ramda points it at her head. She flies across the table and she seems to move a little bit. Even Q looks a little shocked.
You see, this is called good editing. She moves, and they represent time by showing the cards moving in the air, and before they've even got halfway in the air, she's already disarmed her. That's called good editing. That was a good trick. It was subtle enough for people to miss it, but it was obvious enough to know that she is fast.
Yeah, and then, of course, out of all the cards that fell on the floor, the twin one is on top.
Yeah.
And facing the right way. It's like, whatever.
And Stuart, look, this Romulan chap straight after, look how... He is not meant to be a hero Romulan. His hair is literally sticking off his head.
Yeah.
That is not... He is not put in full makeup. That is a lazily done... I mean, that's fine. Whatever. That's fine.
Derpy derp derp.
Yeah. And guys, that's a big lady as well.
Eugene throws in 300 rubles.
Dang.
This religious fervor about Sub Chinep, both Ramda and Operative, feels so different from O, Narek, and Sis reaction. Maybe they are two different groups. I mean, maybe.
But I also think the Jat Vash, it's what they do. These other people are just Tal Shiar, it's different ways. You know, they've been fighting them. They're not going to say, oh my god, you're the synth that could destroy. They're like, well, yeah, you're a synth, we're going to kill you. So I think it's more that sort of everyday thing. But yeah, it is true. There might be there might be more alternates to this. I like how Hugh tells off the guard for having his gun not in his holster enough.
Yeah, she's fine. He's at fault. Make sure you all secure your sidearms.
And that's just a good power play. It just shows he's in charge. Like, this happens, you should have had your holster in. And I kind of like that she didn't shoot herself. That I thought was a nice touch. Cause it's another like little. She's capable of so many things if you let her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get back into Soji's room, and she contacts her mother. And this shot is courtesy of Quentin Tarantino, I'm sure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, which doesn't look like you do. Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish. There are feet in all of his movies.
Oh yes.
And considering it's right behind the display, that's the first thing I thought. Anyway.
Yes. Now, I watched this and I thought, is that the same mother actor? A little different
to me. Doesn't look like it.
So I actually did pull that up, and I'm not going to go find it again because I was like, I think it might be, but it felt so different. And yeah, obviously she said Daj is fine, so, I mean, clearly mega ultra fake.
And Daj is thinking about getting a puppy. I don't think it's a good idea. And it basically lulls Soji to sleep.
Yeah. But doesn't trigger her in the same way, although that might be to come. But you would, I mean, there's so many things that don't make sense here with that. Well, okay, we'll get there at the end and just try and remember me. So I don't think these are the same actress, because they're both of sort of foreign descent. I don't know what it's trying to be, Indian-y, but they look like a different structure. I mean, she's got a different hairstyle, but what do you think, Stuart, now, once it goes on the live? It doesn't look like the same woman to me.
I didn't think they were the same woman, but I think they are now that they're side by side.
Okay.
This one's more squinted-eyed right now.
Okay. What do you guys think? Because that'd be another hint to, like, weird programming that it's like she's a different computer or something.
Well, it seems like her mom kind of reset her and, like, did something with her short-term memory, maybe, like...
Maybe. But this mum's not trying to help her, though. It's not trying to activate her, let her do things. She's just trying to pacify her.
Yeah. Eugene throws in 100 rubles. Gonna send PayPal for final score discussion. Hope it gets in time. Well, hopefully it goes through because PayPal's holding the other one, as they some.
Yeah, they sometimes do. Hopefully, we've still got a little bit to go. So, yeah. But that was definitely a weird scene. Then she just falls asleep, and then it edits to her waking up instantly. It's a very weird edit. It doesn't work either. It just doesn't feel quite right. And then she's so awake. It's just a bit weird.
And Narek looks so like menacing when he walks through the door, but not really. And he just is acting here as shit. Like, are you all right? Like, what are you talking about? What did you hear? I mean, you maybe heard about the scuffle, but whatever. Um, it's just, it's awfully done.
And he was so good last week.
And then she just randomly out of the blue says, "If you had asked me 5 minutes ago if I knew about a ship, I would have said no." And he's like, "Is that the truth?" So he didn't ask her about a ship. It just this dialogue is shit, and it makes no sense.
And the problem is, we're now 3 episodes in. They met in the first episode. They banged in the second episode with 2 scenes together. And now he says he's in love with her in the 3rd episode. It's been less than a week since you met, like, since the first episode. And he says he loves her, falling in love with her. He's known her maybe 3 days, max. I mean, yes, you have instant connection, but it's a very odd scene. That is, I think they're trying to force us to care for these two so that they can do something with it later. Because if they escape by episode 5 and you haven't built this up...
Yeah, and I think there's also there's that hint that he might actually be falling in love with her and kind of not fulfill his mission.
Oh, yeah.
Because they kind of hinted that when he talks to his sister. She's like, "Don't fall in love."
But it's so rushed. It's rushed beyond belief. But just to respond for a second, I actually like the way he looks when he walks in, because that's his outside face of Mr. Commissioner, because no one knows they're sleeping together. So he has to give a serious face. So I thought that was actually fine. And his acting, I didn't find too much of a problem with, because for all he knows, she's activated. He has to kill her.
And Eugene, I got your PayPal, so be able to read it when it's time.
So I thought his acting was kind of like, I'm going to be standoffish. Like, are you okay? Do I have to murder you now? So I thought there was something I got there, because of a very weird situation, but it wasn't the best. But I thought the "I love you" line was the thing that really hurt it. I know he's trying to force himself in her life, literally, figuratively, and he might know how to trigger her more because he knows about how the sort of android she is. So there's something there, maybe, you know what I mean? But it's very strange. It shouldn't be 3 episodes in.
Yeah, and then it cuts right to her sister, and they've obviously had sex since then, because she's like, "I can smell her on you."
Oh yeah.
Very carnal.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Earth was a miscalculation," and he leans in and says, "Your miscalculation."
And they almost kiss.
Yeah.
They're so close and intense, and it's, you know,
and then as he's walking away, she's like, "Don't fall in love."
Because you're mine, bitch. It might be Jamie Lannister, Cersei Lannister situation. I mean, it's gone a bit weird. And the whole Earth thing now sounds even worse, because if they're trying to capture her, why are they shooting on kill? Like, they tried to stun her at the start, but the second time they just straight out trying to murder her. But they knew where this one was.
That's what I said in my first review, or my first reaction last night. The plan seems bass-ackwards. Like, you have access to this one who's on a Romulan-owned cube. Why not go for her first instead of trying to get the one that's in the heart of Starfleet? And why not send Narek to that one to make her fall in love with him on Earth, which would be more clandestine, considering it's Earth, it's the heart of Starfleet. I realize she has a boyfriend, but whatever.
Accidents happen. Knives just get thrown sometimes.
Well, exactly. It's just the plan is really ass backwards.
Yeah, it's a very weird. It should have been a reveal that the Earth character was alive for 4 and then gets killed, and then, oh my god, there was a second one the entire time, and she's working with the Romulans, or something. It's very strange, because the guns only kill, and they're trying to kill her, but they obviously want her alive. Or if they didn't want her alive because they're trying to find the nest, killing the person that has information is bad. It's poorly thought out. It doesn't connect properly. And another thing that I was going to mention a minute ago, and I said wait till now. So obviously, Stuart, the Romulans know she's here, right? The Jat Vash, they know she's here, and so does the Commodore, because they talk about the plan going bad and right?
Yeah.
So why does the Romulan? Why do they still seem to try and need to find her? Why does the one in the in the house say you'll never find her There's like a it feels like some know SGR, some doesn't know SGR is just it's weird. It's just weird. Moving on.
100 rubles. Oh, the set is weird. I remember these walls from somewhere, but I don't remember where from. Yeah. And Ryan puts in $2. Romulan cruel intentions. That's funny.
But then we get the scene where the new double agent, I mean the chief expert, basically convinces him to join her to join him for the obvious reasons, and it makes sense. And Picard doesn't say, right, the chateau is not free anymore, please leave. He just lets them stay in a chateau, even though they're all going to get killed probably.
Well, they're Tal Shiar, they can take care of themselves. It's fine.
Sure.
But the thing that gets me about this final scene is when Rafi says to him, "Oh, so that's just Agnes is going to come along for the ride? You didn't even ask me to do a security check, not even the most basic security check, which is going to come up, I'm sure, because she's going to find out some bit of information, because maybe Agnes is being blackmailed for some reason. So something's going to come up in a search later, but." Prime 1351 puts in $2. Maybe Soji works for Starfleet. Extra scrutiny.
I don't get that vibe, I'll be honest. And one quick thing before we cut out of this last scene, you get this really weird shot of the comm badge being lit up for some reason.
I did not notice that. It's got a different sound too when it doesn't chirp like a comm badge.
That's the same thing from the last episode. It now has a very mechanical sound, but for some reason there's a spotlight, I guess, on the ceiling on the comm badge, because it's now got a bright white light in the middle for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
It was very
strange. A reflection, but...
Well, Stuart, they're matte.
They're
not that reflective. I mean, they wouldn't be bright, because there's still a light on it.
No, but
I mean...
It's just to show off the delta, because it's a dark room lit by a fireplace, so...
Yeah, so they're deliberately lighting it, and it looks like a silver thing. I mean, it just looks really dumb. But I like the captain's like, I'm expensive, but you need to go now because your fire's coming. Fire's already here. Well, my source says it's coming. So the Romulan's going to leave, right? Because otherwise the fire's coming. Nope, okay, we'll see him again at the chateau in a few... Stupid. So they beam up. And then...
And I gotta say, the shot of Earth orbit, there's a lot of shit in orbit.
Yeah.
You see things moving around quickly. Yep. Somebody complained you didn't see Earth's space dock, and I'm like, it could be on the other side of the planet. It could be to the left of the screen.
Who
it could
cares?
be to the right of the screen.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it's scale. I mean, it's a tiny space station in terms of the size of the Earth. They're always next to it to see it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. The fact that they put so much stuff in orbit, I really appreciate that, because it's supposed to be busy and bustling, and we've never seen that ever when we go there. So
all for that, absolutely. Although the question then is, how I know it's on a listed ship, but are undocumented ships allowed to come and go from Earth and beam? I guess so. Don't know.
Yeah, that's the issue. But anyway,
because I'm sure he's a smuggler with some sort of stealth tech, sort of, that can hide it. You know, not like physical stealth, but like reflective sensor thing or whatever. And yeah, the Raffi thing. I like her new outfit, by the way. I thought that was kind of cool. Much better than her other outfit. Like, she now looks more put together, which is good. But her saying, "Didn't you have me do a security check?" I'm thinking, you said never contact me again. So of course I wasn't going to ask for a security check from you. I didn't know you were here.
Well,
what are you on about?
So he would have included it in the information about Maddox. Like, here's somebody I'm thinking of taking with me.
Oh, right.
He didn't at that point, because she knows that she would look into it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. It just felt a bit like, but you told me not to talk to you. Yeah. And then that scene happens, and then they say, "Can we go now?" Which makes you realise it's just literally like just a Delta Flyer with Tom Paris. It's like, yep, just one guy's ship. Doesn't need any other positions filled. It's just, yep, he can just pilot it, because all you're doing is go from A to B. You know? Mm-hmm. It's really, like, you don't ever see ships like that. Just like, yep, we're just going to fly places.
I wonder if they ever get into battle, if there's an emergency.
Ooh, yes.
Tactical officer.
There must be.
An ETH.
Yeah, and he's like German sounding. He's very like stern and powerful sounding. I fire the torpedoes! The quantums are firing! Because this guy, even his normal accent in this show is an accent. So he's doing 3 accents in one show. So he's obviously talented at that. So I wouldn't put it behind him to put past him to do more accents. And And so yeah, they say let's go, have a seat. Even more holograms. He says engage. The music swells as TNG. Everyone looks excited except Ravi's like ugh. And then we see this kind of cool shot from the window, but again, scale's appropriate here, showing it's a tiny ship because you can see the entire set, and as you pan by, it's a tiny ship, and that is the entire set. And then the exclusively blue, no red, which is sad, warps out into a sort of flash, and then we end. So ends episode 3. We are now finally on the adventure until we come back to Earth, go back to the chateau for many more times. Weird.
Yeah. That's episode 3, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I think of it? Like I said, I enjoyed it more than the last episode. Now looking at it in such close detail, I know what I don't like about the last part of it. I knew that the jump back and forth between scenes was really annoying, but there are a lot of things that could just literally just be cut out. So I get why you think that it's not as good, because the other one was so full of such great information story-wise. I understand that now. But that being said, I really did enjoy this one.
Might I have lowered your score, though, because of the clearly bad last act?
Yes, you did lower my score by 1 point.
Okay, and I raised mine from rewatching it because the character stuff's better than I thought. Once you know it, you're not... Because I was obviously looking for things, but once you know I'm not going to get what I want, you can watch as like, what's there? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it, I just... The first one is great because it's a good mystery, but it's too much of Picard being sulky. This one has a lot less going for it, but at least it's sort of you know what's happening.
Yeah.
And the two characters are decent, but there's some bad art design, some bad directing, some bad writing, and spinning wheels. But 2, I think, is a good medium of things happening and things doing, and the Admiral scene, and yeah. But sorry, Stuart, continue.
So I loved meeting the new captain and the holograms. I thought those were great. Rafi's character, I probably start to like her eventually, because by the end of the episode, at the end scene, she's kind of like more on point. So
she's going to go through the journey. She starts as low as she can. Yeah. She's going to get someone better, I think. They all are.
And Commodore O talking to Agnes is kind of a dead giveaway that Agnes isn't fully on the up and up, but it's not her choice. I get the distinct impression. So, I mean, there's lots of good stuff going on here, and I love the opening scene with the 14 years later with the other uniforms. It was great.
We also missed one thing. Sorry, that they said that Maddox is on
Free Cloud. So the next story, although we know the next story is actually going to a Romulan base, which I don't think is Free Cloud. That seems odd to me. But they're going to Free Cloud, and we might see the Maddox actor, and that might be the end of the story for this part of the story. Who knows? Because that's the pilot, apparently. So now the story begins. So we'll see. So guys, now do put in the chat below, or the chat wherever it is, what you think of the episode. Give a score. We do want to give. And if you want to put also... put your score out of 10 and put your score out of 3, as in where this fits in the 3 so far, because we each have different versions of that. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that, because these aren't bad episodes, but how do they fit on the 3 so far? And super chat your thoughts if you want us to read out. But Stuart, then give your final score. And I didn't hear your score earlier on, so I have no idea what you would have given it. I didn't score it last night.
Exactly.
I don't score it.
So give us the final verdict.
I'll do my 3 out of 3 first. This one is number 2. So it would be episode 1, this one, and then episode 2.
Okay.
3 out of 3 for enjoyment. As for my actual score, it's going to be a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So it was going to be an 8, but I've whittled me down a little bit by half a point. So,
like I said, my biggest summary for this one is it should have been 2 episodes of 50 minutes or 55 minutes. You cut out the filler. You don't need it, and make it one solid movie where they start on the planet, end leaving the planet. That would have been a lot stronger than I think these 3 were. And I've heard someone say there was designed to be 2, and they said we want to have more character stuff, so we'll make it 3. Worst decision they made. This show has 10 episodes. There should be no filler. You know, it's the most expensive Trek show ever made. Every minute of filler is the most expensive minutes of filler ever in Trek. You know, every scene should be important and crucial and interesting and have bits. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Score.
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, this is the weakest of the three. The good bits are fine and decent. The bad bits are terrible and the worst of the three so far. But yes, I like I said during the other review, I am pleased how much I liked the captain because he wasn't just a Han Solo dick, and his hologram thing was fun, genuinely fun for me. It was canony, it was interesting, it was a new dynamic. Ravi was a whole mix of good, bad, and meh. Don't like drug addict. I think we shouldn't have that sort of thing really in the same way it was presented, but whatever. Hopefully she gets better. That, you know. Picard, the acting of Patrick I thought was okay. He didn't get, apart from seeing with Ravi, he didn't get, he got 2 scenes, but with the, it's a lot of him in rooms talking to people, and it varies strongly in terms of what he's given. But because we don't know these characters, having an emotional scene with her is hard because we have nothing to build on, you know? So it doesn't pay off in the same way as it should do. So for me, like I said, this is 3 out of 3. This is the weakest one by a bit. Originally, I was going to say 4 out of 10 in my original score because it's just felt so. I'm going to up that to a 5. I think it is. The good is decent. The bad is really bad, but it is like really average. I mean, I could literally skip this episode. I could never watch this one again. Nothing in this episode is for me. I enjoyed nothing in particular. Nothing, literally, and that's a weird feeling for me. You know, it's okay, maybe, but
not holograms.
Well, because I'm going to see more of it in later episodes. It's better. Like we're going to see better scenes later on. You know. You know, so there's nothing in here that I particularly would want to watch again. But it's still better than Discovery. But it's definitely for me the weakest of the 3. So guys, give us your scores. We really want to hear. In the other comments, we're seeing pure split between our 2 opinions. I think more people like it than dislike it. That's fine. Neither of us are right. This is all personal opinion. But I think we both justified our opinions really well. So Stuart, you can do the super chat reviews, and I'll go back and read the non-super chat reviews.
Cornelius Iron, $2. Next stop, free cloud, then on to new DS9. Okay. Fleet Pass Switchback puts in $5, 8.5 out of 10 for Picard, 7.5 out of 10 for all of Trek.
Wow, Jesus.
And then episode 1, episode 3, and episode 2. She's got the same order as me. Definitely better than last week.
Crazy, man. See, I would say this is like a 3 or 4 out of all Trek. I mean, most of TNG is better than this. I enjoy a lot of Voyager compared to this. I mean, are you kidding? Wow.
Yeah. Michael Harden puts in $2. Those transporters on the ship, is this Discovery? Well, we talked about that. They look like the lateral vectoral transporters on the Shinzo, but
at least the effect's better with a better sound effect.
The effect's great.
The effect's great. Good for them.
Zerax is $5. I'd say 7 out of 10. Felt like it was a little fillery, but it raised some interesting questions. Had some more thoughts, but PayPal is being dumped.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But speaking of, do you want to read Eugene's PayPal?
Yes,
well, people put their scores in
right now.
And if you want Stuart to read out your thoughts, please super chat. If you want me to read them out, don't super chat. But we all love Stuart the most, as I know you all do. So you want him to read out his thing.
No, I didn't. So Eugene says, well, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10, not as a measure of quality, but uncertainty. They are good at building intrigue, and I like the development of Romulan lore and language, though it feels more Egyptian and not Latin. But I don't feel it is Star Trek, not plot-wise and not style-wise. On the contrary, Mass Effect style is not a rare occasion. It is freaking everywhere. Lingo feels out of place, not synthetic. JL, XBs, XO, but Android, Jean-Luc, X-Borg, First Officer, feels as if someone slapped some Star Trek things on top of a Mass Effect fan fiction and said, see, you have Picard, you're obliged to like it. Then again, it is not constant, so it is probably an effect of heavy re-editing. Need to see more, he says.
And one thing I said in our other review, this episode feels like a different sci-fi universe that has Star Trek characters in it.
Yeah.
the way the tonally it is, the way they're talking. It's clearly a rebooted feel of Trek, more distinct than episode 2 especially, and it's happened to be in it. Which is funny because next week we're gonna get the TOS post TNG Romulan Bird of Prey, the most TOS canon looking design. You know what I mean? That's gonna be Trek. Crazy, and that is one of John Eves'. I saw him post a little hint about it. Yes, sorry, any more super chats before I read the non-super chat scores?
Nope.
Okie dokie, let's jump up a little bit. Okay, so aren't episodes 1, 2, and 3 essentially meant to be the whole pilot? Yes. Judged collectively as a feature-length pilot like other Trek. It's still the best pilot except TOS, but unfortunately it's not being presented like that. So you can't judge it like that. If they wanted to be a full pilot, it should have been a full pilot or a 2-part pilot, but it's a 3-part, you know? It's not quite, you know.
No, I agree with that assessment. It's hard to rate it.
And when we watched Farpoint, like, we reviewed it as one big part, but also we said part 1 was weaker. You know, same thing. 9 out of 10 for this episode, 10 out of 10 for Trekyards. Yes, Aussie, appreciate that. 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10 Dreamer out there. 7.5 for Brian Kenderson. 6.5 for Minkin 2. 5 out of 10 for James Robert. 7 out of 10 for Ryan. 6 out of 10 for Veronica. 5 out of 10 for Mac Lee. 7 out of 10 for Mr. Daggard. 5 out of 10 for Bill Barkley. About the same as the last two, maybe a bit lower. 6.75. 20 out of 10 says Donnie. Holy hell. Haljit says 8 out of 10, best of the 3. Kevin says 6 out of 10 and middle of the 3. 7 out of 9, good old gamer. 8 out of 10, Jimmy Dean. 6 out of 10. I like that it's less breathless than Discovery, but it's almost too slow. They could have trimmed a lot of dialogue in these episodes. 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and middle of the road episode. 9 out of 10. 2 out of 3 for the pilot. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 5. 6.5 out of 10 for Picard. 7.75 ranking. Second of the 3. Second of the 3. I'd give 5 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10. Just weak. 8 out of 10. 4.10. 4 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. 9 out of 10. So yeah, pretty varied thing there. Pretty varied. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Yeah. I was saying to you earlier that it'd be interesting to re-edit this 3 as like a one movie. I think it'd be stronger. Maybe worth me doing like a call on the Facebook, like donate $100 and I'll spend a couple of hours doing that. 'Cause it takes time. Like I can't just do it for the fun of it. I've got too much work to do. But you know, if anyone would like to see the Trekyards edit of the first 3, then you know you could always PayPal us $100 and I might be able to put some time into that. Because that'd be something interesting. I'd be interested in sort of, because that's quite a lot to redo, considering where the break point is or how I do a 2-hour pilot. Because you wouldn't take out too much, but you have to restructure a few things to make it all flow better. Like where do you end if it's one part 1, one part 2? You know.
Good question.
But there you go, guys. A full 3 hours. So therefore, we've got to say, who's the final super chat? You guys have done amazing. Fair to say, Stuart?
Absolutely. You guys have been awesome, and we had up to 400 people. We had over 300 for the whole thing. Now we're down to 282 because we're wrapping up. But really appreciate you guys showing up and supporting us. It means a lot. Even if it's just viewing us, not saying anything, that's still fine. Share it around. Other people might like it as well. And hit like. That's just important. Yeah. Think Paw Swiftback. That's an $1.99. 355 likes. We did it.
Yes. Thank you. No, and hopefully, guys, I think this one is a great example of being balanced because you were pro, I was against, but I mean, I still agree with you with all your. I think what's funny about this one is that I agreed with you with all your good points, and you agree with me with most of my bad points.
Yeah, exactly.
But we
both took something different away from it.
Yeah, and we both changed our score slightly. So I mean, you can't go more balanced than this. And neither of us want to go in. I mean, come on, most people on the internet would argue. I don't think we argued at all. And this comes from 5.5 years of doing this. But I mean, fair and balanced. Each scene should be provide its own merits. Each moment, good and bad. We just happen to each like different things. That's innately going to be a thing. But I had a lot of fun here. So hopefully you guys like this, and guys do check in our other videos. We've already released 2 smaller videos which we do actually say different things. Weirdly enough, we have different points. So spoiler free came out a few hours ago. Spoiler filled, 25 minutes. It's a good edit. They're always hard to do, but I always put a lot of time into those. And then we've got lots coming out this week about a lot of different things. And do go back and watch last week's if you'd like to. A lot of good things in that as well. And then you'll see us for Mondays live, Tuesdays live, and Wednesdays live, and then Stuart's first reaction live, and just edited reviews over the weekend. I still have to go and edit, and I'll do some tonight as well. I'll stay up and do those as well.
Yeah. We're just everywhere these days, so.
Yeah. But I've got a friend's birthday on Saturday, so that'll be fun. I get to have a night off. I'll work all throughout the day so I can get the night off, and I expect to be slightly hungover on Sunday. But Zaraxis is currently the last super chat, but does anyone want to beat Zaraxis for the honour of being final super chat? Because we've done good, but I mean, it's up for grabs, guys. Final super chat, Zaraxis has it. Anyone else? Anyone else? I don't know. Anyone else? I don't know.
Zaraxis, $2. Looking good, guys. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank
you guys have been saying in the chat that we did good in this one, so thank you. We appreciate that. We love hearing that.
Thank you. Yeah, and look forward to next week. I'm kind of confused as to where it might go.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I said go to Revolt. Well, no, we do know. Doesn't matter. We'll get there when we get there. And yeah, any final thought there, Stuart?
No.
Super.
Just thank you guys for watching, and yeah, looking forward to keeping you guys entertained for the next 7 weeks or more with this. Then we got other shows like Discovery Season 3 and then Lower Decks. So we're gonna be around for a long time, guys.
And you heard the other animated show is called Prodigy. So
Prodigy. Yes. Must be about Michael Burnham.
It means it's a kid one. So there's a kid genius, and he's going to be kid friendly, and everyone's going to love him because he's a kid too. I'm sure he'll be basically the Wesley Crusher done right. That's what I'm guessing.
Right.
All right. So if there's no more super chats, then we can leave. Unless someone wants to sneak in at the very last minute. No. It's funny to tease you all. No, seriously, thanks, guys. We will see you later on today. Later on this week. Later. Bye, guys. I'm tired.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
I'm tired, too.